26 questions here. Whether it's people from here in Florida, California, London, people who are in the dance scene, not in the dance scene, it's dance related or it's not dance related. Some of the questions are really deep, some of them are really shallow, some of them are just like, So it really kind of depends on the question. But I really do encourage everyone to answer it as fully and as genuinely as honestly as possible. Yeah, this is really just to get to know each other better outside of dance. Let's just start with Tina and let's work all the way across. So let me get your name. If you have a dancer name, let me get that too. How old you are and your favorite animal.
I forgot kind of everything you almost said, but Kristina Lee Moore or Hollywood Tina. Next one.
How old you are?
I am 20.
Okay, and your favorite animal?
Favorite animal, a spider monkey.
Okay, interesting choice. I like it. Emily.
Yeah, my name's Emily Hopkins. M-Hop, people call me. I'm 22, and my favorite animal, I honestly do not have one.
Okay.
It's honestly.
That's fine. Kat?
My name is Kat. My real name is extremely long, so I won't even get into that. But my dancer name is the Witch Doctor. I'm 25 years old, and my favorite animal is actually a Black Panther.
Morgan?
My name's Morgan Summers. I am 22 years old, and my favorite animal is an elephant.
Dante?
My name is Dante. 25. My favorite animal is a jaguar.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
I'm Sarah.
Hi.
I told you. My dancer name is Sarah. My favorite animal is a tiger, and I am 20. Yeah.
Wait, that's your dancer name?
Sarah.
Oh, say Rup.
Sarah, like syrup.
Alright, cool.
You
Tyler?
So, my name is Tyler D. Secretary. I am 21, and my favorite animal is monkey.
Alright, do you have a dancer name?
No, I don't. I'm Tyler D. Creative.
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm Isaiah. Hello. Dancer name Tick. I'm 20, and my favorite animal is a liger. They are real.
They are.
They are real. They're dying, and they die easily, but they're real.
No wonder it fits you so well.
Shelly, aka Popular Shells, 27, and I have a lot of favorite animals. But we're gonna go with tiger.
Alright, cool. So basically, once again, just to reiterate why we're here is to get to know each other better, just so the scene and whoever else watches this video gets to know us better, apart from being dancers. Each one of you guys are going to be picking a question off the floor. We have 26 questions asked by people from our community and other communities. I encourage us to just do one question at a time. Some questions are pretty basic and other ones are a little deep. If you guys have to leave at any point in time, feel free to do so. You guys are not liable to be here or
Obligated.
yeah, whatever.
Gotcha.
But yeah, let's get it started. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Let's go, Dante. Come on.
Do I have to get up, or can I just be like?
I mean,
I want
here,
that
you
one.
can let me know, and I
I want
will.
the one like right in the front, like front center. Front, like our front.
That one is
Yeah.
looking up.
To your left.
This
The
one?
one that's like standing up.
Left.
To the front. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. So the first question is, should you move in with your partner before marriage or not?
Oh.
The Lord. Hey! Ooh!
So, as you see, this is going to be kind of the thing we're on right now.
That's funny.
Wow.
I'm interested to hear this. I'm intrigued.
I feel like you could move in with your partner before marriage, but I do feel like before you move in with somebody that there needs to be an adequate enough time with that person before moving in with somebody. Because whenever you move in with somebody, it's like, it's a whole different beast. It's a whole different beast from just being around someone all the time. Because whenever you're living with somebody, you have to deal with their living habits, whatever it is that they do, things that you don't agree with. And whenever you fight or you're mad, you still have to be around that person and look at them. Like, you don't get to just go home and be like, I'm not dealing with it tonight. So it's, yeah, you can. And I'm not gonna say that people shouldn't, because some people don't get married until like 7-8 years into a relationship. And if you're really feeling somebody after a year, 2 years, move in with each other, that's fine. But I feel like you should definitely get to know the person that you're with before you move in with them.
I agree.
Yeah.
Completely and fully.
I'm gonna say no. Like, for me personally, I'm not with it. Especially off personal experiences. I come from a different scene. He's straight, and I'm definitely gay. But and within the gay scene, they move in really quickly.
Yeah.
It happens. But personal experience again, a lot of gay men are dirty. I'm not talking about the way they live. I'm talking about they get around really easily. I had this whole faith-based thing where if I can't trust you, like say if we go out and you entertain someone else, right off the bat, I'm just like, okay, now I gotta watch you. And I don't ever want that feeling. Like, I want to feel like, okay, we're good when I'm there, when I'm not there. I'm not being told anything. No one's running back to me. Because if we move in together and then we get into a fight and then you leave, or you're not mature enough to like sit there and talk it out the way we should as adults, I just put in my money and my time into a living space. You are stuck there. So either one of us is going to sleep in the bedroom, one's sleeping downstairs. And then now I have you bring people over. And now there's a whole big issue. So from my standpoint, I would, again, yes, adequate time, but I'm not moving in until those accounts are conjoined.
Yeah. I was in a relationship and I moved in with them like maybe not even 3 months, like a month after knowing them. And I got kicked out and was homeless for a month, and I like put in money and everything for that. So I mean, I had experience, but I still think, because I wouldn't marry somebody probably like right off the bat, I would probably like wait 8 years, just like he was saying. I still think if it was in that kind of like if we've been dating for 5 years and we kind of know that we want to head somewhere, we're just not probably financially ready for a marriage, I would still move in with them. But other than that, I think you should not. Don't do it just because you love them or because you're so in love with them and like blinded and stuff. You should really wait it out until you know financially, spiritually, and all that stuff. But yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I agree. I think I do believe that you can move in before you get married, but I think you just need to build a relationship past like girlfriend, boyfriend, even past friendship. Like, if you get in an argument with someone and the person like gets mad at you and you leave, then you gotta come back to that person eventually, right? Like, I'm moving soon, and Chris is moving too. We're both moving to the same place, but I'm not gonna move in with her because what we have is still young. And if I were to move in and do something wrong, that's what I have to live with, the whole time. And I wouldn't want to do that to her or myself. So, yeah.
Then I gotta beat your ass.
I'd like to agree. I mean, I feel like you can move in before marriage, but it'd be wiser if you didn't. Because for me personally, I like the idea of marriage, that two people becoming one. But if you're already kind of becoming one, but not fully one, it takes away the effect of that marriage. And then, there's a whole bunch of things that go with the marriage, like the divorce. It's not easy, or it's easy to leave a relationship. It's easy, like if I'm dating, all right, get out of my house, call it a day. But if I'm married to you, you're mine, like we are one. You're truly separate at that point. So it's harder to just kick someone out when you're married than to,
I'm gonna go back and change a little bit of what I said, because I feel like people should move in before marriage. Because of what he was just saying, like where, whenever you become married, and this is, a lot of people believe in a lot of different things with marriage, but for the sake of like the most common, whenever you become married, it's like a joining of two people, a union. And if you are getting married to someone that you have no idea what kind of living habits they have or anything like that, and you get married, that is, I want to say that's one of like the top 10 or top 5 reasons that people get divorced anyway.
For sure.
So you move in with somebody, they have crazy eating habits or cleaning habits or whatever. They might sleep crazy and it drives you nuts. Like all the little stuff. Whenever you move in with somebody, you're living with somebody, all the little things become so much more apparent.
But do you honestly have to live with that person? Like, do you not go over to your partner's house and stay there for a certain amount of time? They did not come over and see how you live when they stay at nights at your house and stuff like that?
It's a different mindset to be like, to go over to someone's house and spend 3 or 4 days with them at a time and then go back to your own home and then be over there all the time.
Yeah.
Because I can be dealing with somebody and be with them for 3 or 4 days and get annoyed and then go back home, and then it's like time for me to unravel from that. But whenever you're living with somebody day in and day out, there's no like time apart. Like you can leave, but it's still like that comfort of being in your own home
It's
is
not there.
it's
But that's the thing. I'm saying, like if you're going over there and they drive you nuts that much, then you should already know right off the bat. I'm not.
But it's easy to look at our relationship and be like, oh, okay, you know, if I'm only there part of the time, it drives me crazy, and then whenever you go back, it's like, but I do care about this person, and I do care about X, Y, Z, and I want to try to make things work. And so each time, it's like, okay, it's not as bad.
Right. You go picture it as a hotel. They're gonna always leave candy on your pillow.
Yeah.
But then now, if you overstay your welcome, like they're gonna be bad customer service.
No, but I mean, for me, maybe because I'm really a cut and dry person when it comes to stuff like this. If I don't like something about someone, I'm gonna one, let you know, and then two, if it keeps going on, I'm gonna leave the situation. Like I feel no need to carry on in the manner. So like what I'm saying is like, okay, if I'm dating someone, I've been known to spend weeks at a time at this person's house or vice versa. So might not be getting the full like of how they do, but I'm getting like bits and pieces of, okay, I'm sleeping with you in your bed. I'm around you now about how your living space is, how you keep everything out. So I'm getting like the small pieces, but if that right there annoys me, why am I gonna move in with you? Or why am I gonna get married to you?
Let's look at it from like a different standpoint of just like, oh, this little stuff that you do. So let's say like you're living with somebody and you move in together like financially.
Mm-hmm.
So then there's the financial aspect. Whenever you're just visiting, there's that financial aspect is not there. So the money that's being shared on rent, on food, different stuff like that, that's a whole nother aspect that's never touched on because you're just kind of visiting. Even though, like if you stay at somebody's house for weeks at a time, there might be some of that slightly touched, but living with somebody, it gets to a point where it's like, okay, if we're gonna be living together, we should probably start shopping together for food, different stuff like this. Whenever you're living together, all of your stuff is in one place. So if you're visiting, half the time you might have like half of your stuff, you might leave stuff there, but you still have all of your own stuff in your own space. Now you're sharing a space with someone, all of your stuff in one space. And that's a whole other issue. I don't want to say issue in like a negative way, but it's a whole nother thing to deal with that's not included in just kind of visiting on and off.
And then I don't know if you guys have me on Facebook or not, but I've posted many a time how I'm a 50-50 person. Like if we go out somewhere, I don't care if you invited me, I pay for me, you pay for you, leave it at that. That's just how I am. Maybe it's because I don't trust people with my money, but I don't trust people with my money. So when it like I understand like the financial side and everything, but what I do and what I've been telling a lot of my friends who are younger than me is I don't ever want to get married or have children or adopt children until I'm able to take care of 4 people.
Right.
Because I want twins and then I want a husband. So what happens if he gets laid off or he gets injured or something, then I have to take care of everyone else. So this might be like curveballing off what the question was, but again, financially, I want to be able to take care of 4 people before I get married. That's me personally. And again, my biggest thing I think when it comes to relationships and moving in with someone is how they live. Like, I need to know when you're going to wake up for work, when do you work. Like, I don't care much for what you eat or how you're eating because I'm not paying for it. Unless you're my child, then I'll obviously pay for it. I need to know if I go to your house and I look into your bathroom and I see it like it's unkept or it's really clean, then but I'm unkept, or if I'm really clean, I'm like, well, we need to get 2 bathrooms because it's not gonna work out.
Yeah.
I need to know how much like clothes you have compared to the clothes that I have, because if we have a lot of clothes or you keep your clothes a certain way, I'm not getting involved in that. Like, I don't want any extra friction when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I understand that you're sharing a space, and I also understand that most people set up rules, like house rules that they have when it comes to living. But for me, I guess the biggest test is when I stay those times at that person's house, what I'm seeing and how much I can get away with certain things. Like testing the water. Because again, my biggest thing and biggest fear and insecurity, whatever you want to say, again, the community is totally different than the straight community. Skin color, facial appearance, the way I do everything is not looked forward to in the gay scene. So I would be considered ugly in the gay scene. So from that whole aspect, I have an insecurity where if I find someone who's like, hey, you're attractive, or hey, you're hot, or hey, you look good, and then they try to sleep with me, but I kick them off, then because I wait time for that also. I'm worried about if they're going somewhere else for what they didn't get, right?
Yeah.
So I already have that insecurity in my head, and then now when I'm going and I'm living with you, if I see anything that throws me off towards that, or if I see anything where I can't interact with you and the stuff that you do, then again, I'm very cut and dry. I'll end it and be like, look, we can't do this. It's not gonna go anywhere from here. So I honestly think that staying a portions of time with someone can show you enough to where you're like, okay, I'm gonna move in, or no, I'm gonna wait until either one of us pops the question and we get married.
Mm-hmm.
But again, this is all personal, like, experiences. So
Yeah, I think it's just all about balance. Like, can the person you're with balance you out, or can you feel balanced with the person you're with?
Right.
Can you enjoy the things you like about them? And can you?
No, I'll start.
Okay. Do you want to pick? Or you want me to pick for you? Or?
You can pick.
Well,
I don't remember.
which one?
Right in the middle.
Stuck in the middle with you.
Okay.
is the camera on?
Yep. I'm gonna be like,
Oh,
It's gonna be in all
let
my-
me stop saying
yeah.
it.
We recorded forever. Forever.
And then let me turn this down. Sorry, guys. I like Jason.
All right. You guys ready?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So this question: what are your views on feminism?
I am a raging feminist. I do not believe in misandry, which is hating men. They're completely different things. Feminism is the belief in the equality of the sexes in opportunities, pay, all that kind of good stuff. So I think people should be equal, not that like all of memes about like, oh, drinking men's tears, that kind of shit is whack, but feminism's not.
That was an ad.
Feminism.
So I think it should be clarified what the definition of feminism is before anyone says anything. Because a lot of people claim to be feminists, but they tear down other women.
Right.
They tear down men. They
Right.
say that men don't deserve this, or other women don't deserve this, or you can't do this unless you look this way or do or act this way. And it's not. It's literally the equality of both men and women. It's fighting for the equality for females to be equal to men, or any other group or subgroup or anything like that. I find it funny when someone says they're feminist and then like a few minutes later tears down another woman who like disagrees with them. Because like then you're not feminist, you just prove the point of what it is. But it's kind of sad that we have to have feminists, because you would think that the person that gives birth to men and women and everything in between would have to even fight for any kind of right or equality whatsoever. I mean, if women were gone, the human race would be over. So
Makes a good point. What's that one song? The world. I forgot the song, but it's like the world is revolt. Wouldn't it be nothing without women?
it's a man's world.
Yeah, it's a man's world. That's what I was like. Oh, I'm just listening to it.
I was recently working at this job where like guys started getting paid more than women, and I didn't know. I quit because I was like, nah, I don't fuck with that. But like, the managers treated the men better. They treated the females like shit. There was like only like 2 or 3 of us working there, and it wasn't even like a whole like big job. It was just the fact that like just because we were women, we got treated differently and we got paid less for no reason when we're doing the same job. We're doing more than them sometimes. Like they're very lazy and that, you know, I just didn't really like fuck with that. But like, I went to this. I just want to put that out there. But I went to this discussion. I'm about to ask you guys a question, and they brought up the idea of the black feminism versus feminism.
Needs to be intersectional, yeah.
And I just want to know like what you guys thought about that. I personally agree.
Oh, you put a question on the question.
Okay,
I put a question on the
well,
question.
we about to get real interesting, and I'm gonna apologize now that I don't care. Black women are probably the worst treated person in the U.S.
Yes.
Possibly even the world. And I say this because the most people to get paid is white men, white women, black men, black women. On top of that, we have we built up a rap society or hip hop society that degrades these women who didn't do so as much before, but in the time and age that we have now, they degrade these women. We have this belief. Well, I won't say we. I say white people. Some white people have this belief that black men date white women because black women are too loud or too this or too that. But they don't realize that black women have been fighting for not just themselves, but the black men to even live or coexist within this world.
Right.
And then, I'm sorry, I'm about to do what she just did. There's a post, Black Lives Matter was started by 3 lesbians.
Right.
There's a gay man, I forget his name, who was arrested at a march. Black men came out and said they couldn't follow him because he wasn't a real man, because he wasn't masculine, because he didn't fit their narrative of what a man is. But the funny thing about it is that throughout history, you can probably name 2 or 3 men that have helped within the black community. But everything from the beginning of the railroad until now have been black women, have been feminist or femininity that has moved this along. Gay men who were feminine got off their ass and went out there and marched and did everything they needed to do. But you're so wrapped up in being seen as or being seen with a man who's attracted to men that you won't do anything. When it comes to the black woman, first off, I have a little sister, who I may not, when we in the same room, may not get along with, but I spent my whole life growing up until now to teach her that she is not what everyone else says she is. She is what she wants to be. She just graduated from college with a health management degree. My mother, single mother, I knew my father and I had my uncles and everything, but that was the person who sat there and did everything, who worked long shifts, who did all she had to do to get me to where I am, to go to college, to pursue dance, to do what I want to do. So this whole thing with feminism even existing just angers me when especially when it's brought up. Not when someone's like, yeah, I'm a feminist. They're like, okay, girl, you do you. But my thing is, whenever I hear that, it's always like, why do we have to have them?
Yeah.
Like, there's no need. Like, I don't understand how she's born the same way you were born. So why because you have a penis that you get more than what she gets? I don't understand that. And then, by the way, feminists, you're not a feminist if you downplay trans women. If you call trans women out of their name and or either pronouns that they choose, you're not a feminist. Especially when it was drag queens and lesbians and trans people who even remotely started your movement of feminism. And you guys use their makeup tips, so I don't understand why you're so mad. But I'm gonna keep quiet on that. Y'all go ahead.
Yeah.
So the original question was.
Where we at?
Yeah.
The original question was, what's your view on feminism? And then her second question was the black feminism versus either feminism right now or white feminism as it is.
be 100% 100% honest with you. I have to agree with what Kat was saying. Like, make a clear definition of it, because whenever I try to ask, I got 3 definitions of it. All this other, I never really knew what it really was. So I don't really have an opinion on it because I never really understood what it really was.
So, I'm gonna do this now.
Oh, I got it. Feminism. The advocacy of women's rights
Yes.
on the basis of equality of the sexes.
Then I agree.
And then, I'm sorry. I have to, read the definition for one more time.
The advocacy of women's rights on the basis of equality of the sexes.
So, the comment before when I said you're not a feminist if you don't like uplift or agree with like trans women. I don't mean agree, like you don't have to agree with the lifestyle or anything like that, but you acknowledge them as what the transition that they have made. I really want to stress that gender and sex are not the same thing.
Correct.
Sex is your physical genitals, what you have, and gender is a psychological thing. Let me explain. When a girl is hard-bodied or plays what is perceived as a manly sport, she's called a tomboy, correct? When a female acts a certain way where she's grandiose or quiet or dresses a certain way, she's known as a lady, correct? Those are things describing what is. They do not have anything to do with the actual sex itself. If you notice, sometimes I call myself a lady. It's not because I want to be a female, it's because I act a certain way which pertains to that description, which is a lady. Yeah? So the term woman does not mean female. The term woman is a description of what a female is supposed to represent. Yeah? So when you see a trans woman, one that waits and does the moans correctly, sometimes men will be very like, when they're like, oh, it's a female, it's a girl, and then when they tell a person I'm a trans, I'm transitioning, they get scared and like, oh, you're a man, da da da. The person, if it's a trans woman, she knows she was born male. You don't have to remind her. She is transitioning to be a woman, not to be female, to be a woman. She's trying to make sure her outside body fits her the way she perceives herself. Yeah. So, feminist. Because at this last rally, I saw there's a sign that said trans women are not real women. I just want to pose this: if trans women are not real women, then what is your definition of a real woman? Because it can't be someone who gives birth because they're natural born biological women who don't do that. It can't be someone who has a menstrual cycle because there are biological women who don't do that as well. So what is the definition of a woman? But getting back to the feminist thing, we'll answer that question later after people see it. Hit me up at Kat Fantroy on Facebook. All right.
I believe it's a great thing, and I believe it is needed because, in a way, in the society that we live in, where like our class, race, or position that we're in can like define where we go in life, and like the status quo, the existing affairs of things that are going on, I feel like, you know, everybody's voices needs to be heard, but everybody needs to understand why their voices are needed to be heard. Like I feel like feminism wouldn't be a thing if men from the beginning, you know, stood up for the woman. You know, black men from the beginning stood up for the woman, and like people like, and like, I'm not going to hate or whatever, but people like, you know, Cardi B or like other rappers who use or, you know, degrade women aren't helping, you know, aren't helping feminism. They're helping feminism stay, but the reason for feminism, I feel like, is to be there and then to leave, to show that, you know, what's needed to be changed and then to change, right? So I feel like, you know, people who talk about, you know, who are okay with who are okay with like, you know, sucking dick or whatever and saying like, because Cardi B has a verse in her lyrics saying that she sucks dick, right? there are kids, little white kids, or like little white kids, little black kids, or whatever. Like, you know, saying these verses and like saying them with pride or whatever. Like, you know, you shouldn't like. Yeah, if that's what you want to do with your partner, yes, that's what you do, but in closed doors. You shouldn't feel prideful, like, you know, I suck dick and I like it or whatever. You shouldn't feel like prideful in saying that in front of a bunch of people, you know?
I feel
It
like,
shouldn't be something that you should look up to.
yeah.
And I feel like that's what I feel like. I feel like feminism needs more people who understand it so that it can not exist anymore. 'Cause it shouldn't
I mean,
exist.
on the other hand, also, like, talking about that specific situation, like, the fact that Cardi B can go on there and be like, yeah, I suck dick, when black guy rappers can be like, yeah, she sucked my dick, the fact that we have the equality that she can say it and own up to it as her own agency, that's a big deal too, because if that's her prerogative, like, she should have equal say to take pride in that.
Well, yeah.
And I feel like the whole kid thing is more of a parental,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know, it's a
That's-
parental thing.
That's like a mean dick.
I feel like it's just being able to be prideful in whatever you believe in, like, and not have somebody say, oh, that's that, or this is this, or you shouldn't be doing that. The whole Cardi, because I don't know, I feel like a lot of feminists believe that, you know, Cardi B or what's her name, Amber Rose and all them people, like, that's not real feminism because, you know, they're talking about being a hoe is like,
They're owning their sexual
yeah,
agency.
but really they're just what she just said. You know, it's not really being a hoe because they know like what they're doing with their body or whatever.
Yeah, think
The
about
same
it this
with
way.
males.
If a man says it, why can't a female say it?
Yeah.
And
If a
it's-
man does it, why can't a female do it?
Exactly.
So if
the
a
whole
man
concept.
earns this much, why can't a female earn this much?
And if a man has sex with 5 people,
And he's a rock star now.
yeah, he's a rock star. Like, but a woman, it can only have sex with one guy and pray to the Lord every day on her knees, and like that's what a woman should be.
Yeah, it's a double standard.
Yeah,
A constant double standard that everyone doesn't notice that they do, but they do unconsciously. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the thing with the kids, if your parent is letting you listen to music like that,
That's their whole damn fault.
That's all.
And I know
that's all
that
now.
sometimes it's not like always the parents. It's like just
yeah,
in
I mean,
school.
if they're not with their
corrupted.
parents,
Yeah.
then it's
Yeah.
your parents you can't do that.
That's still a thing that, like, I mean, as a rapper or just an artist, they should just they want to do what they want to do, and they shouldn't have to think about some little kids that like are listening to something. The kids just need to grow up and
Like
mature.
I said before, I'm not trying to be a role model.
I'm just trying to do what I do. You know?
Damn, I really wanted to say something.
I want Emily to take the next question.
I think the idea of feminism is an awesome thing, but this is my issue with the movement.
Mm-hmm.
My issue with the feminist movement is that a vast, and I'm going to go out on a reach on right here and say a vast majority of feminists look at the issue of men treating women a certain way as opposed to women being selective on what equality they want. You could go out anywhere right now to any club, you're probably going to run into a handful of feminists. And if you interacted with them, or at least a handful of feminists, if you interacted with them or just watched them versus someone who is just kind of whatever in regards to the topic, you might not ever see that woman approach a man. You might see her play games with a guy because it's expected of a man to approach a woman. You know, there's all these little things that we grew up thinking how it's supposed to be, and then you have women who are fighting for equality but don't want to be equal in every which way. So my biggest issue with the feminist movement is that women, not every woman, but in general, women don't always own up to equality on every playing field as they should.
Like violence.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Black Lives Matter. Like we're killing ourselves. Black people are killing each other in these neighborhoods, but then they'll go and they'll riot for like, you know, we need to save ourselves from police brutality, which is a thing. But so I'm thinking it's the same thing. At the end of the day, we're all human. We all make mistakes, and our movements aren't gonna be like. Basically, I think we just all need to be stronger so our movements can be stronger and have a better foundation.
Let me put a click note on there. You just said that black people and Black Lives Matter is going out and doing this. So let me clarify this. Black Lives Matter was created for police brutality. It's nothing else. It wasn't made for nothing else.
Yeah.
There are several different other organizations that are out there who don't get as much press because they're not the type to hold a parade and whatever. But Black Lives Matter is not a group. It's people. Anyone can march and use any slogan that they want that includes Black Lives Matter. Now, when Duran kills Jaquan, Duran is gonna go to jail. Like, he's gonna get locked up.
Yeah.
But when Officer Bob kills Jaquan, Officer Bob might get off or might get paid leave.
Yeah.
And that's the issue.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm about to rub a little salt in the wound. Not you, but for white people out there, no shade. We make up the least percent when it comes to us. There are 4 times as many white people up. Like, so for every 1 black person, there would be 4 white people, correct?
Oh, gotcha.
Not in the room, like in the U.S. So I want you to keep that in mind. Now, it says that 90% of black people are killed by another black person, right? So let's say we have 100 people, and 90% is killed, right? That's a lot of people. Times that 100 by 4, you're at 400. 80% to 85% of white people kill white people. Who's killing more people?
White people.
White people are. But you never hear white on white crime.
Yeah.
For a reason.
Yeah.
Black on black crime does not exist. When you are in an area with other people who look just like you, any crime that's committed is probably going to be done to someone who looks just like you.
Yeah.
But what you need to notice is that there's a big correlation between being poor and crime.
Yeah.
So the question should be, why is there so many black people and black communities that are in this that are in poverty?
Yeah, correct.
That's where we need to focus on. But again, Black Lives Matter, it was created to bring us together to talk about police violence.
Yeah.
That's why it was created. But the problem with that is that there is no head.
Yeah.
There's not someone who's like, hey, you can't do that, you can't use this, you can't do that. And that's a problem with a lot of organizations. Because in Chicago, we have a gun organization that works with Chicago people to get guns off streets.
Yeah.
But they have someone who's in charge, which is why it didn't blow up to the point where Black Lives Matter blew up. Because think about it, if we had someone who's in charge and the news tried to say something, they could fire back.
Yeah.
They can't do that.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like the correlation between that and feminism, and what Dante said about feminism, if you truly want to be equal, you have to be equal across the board. Across the board. You can't pick and choose. Because it kills me when I see someone, like I watch these videos all the time on Facebook, when a girl hits a guy and the guy walks away and she continues to hit him, and then she gets hit and she like flips out. Like, what did you expect?
You hit him.
You cannot go in with that mindset of saying, okay, he's a man, he was raised not to hit a woman. No, I was raised that you get 1 free hit, I let you know that you hit me and that I'm not about that, you need to walk away. You hit me again, I'm laying you out. I basically feel threatened. I don't care how it is or how it's perceived. If you want to be equal, you cannot hit someone and not expect to get hit back. I don't care if you look like Beyonce. I don't care if you look like Hulga from, like, I don't. If you want equal pay, you get your equal pay. You also need to be equal when it comes to, like, you can't expect on a date that a man's just gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
it can be.
I'll go on a date with a girl. She gonna pay for it. Like, you can't just pick and choose what you want. You gotta be equal across.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying, like exactly that with the Black Lives Matter, because some people think that Black Lives Matter is like anti-white, like, or people that are inside of it, you know? Same thing with females. Some people think it's anti-male, and they don't have a good understanding of what it is. Like, how many people actually knew what feminism was when they were asked the question? And I think it probably does have to deal with us not having, like, I didn't even know the whole thing about the feminism, or I think that's what you said, or was it Black Lives Matter? One of them were led by, like,
3 lesbians created.
Yeah, like, we don't even know who is leading us, you know? We don't even know who to go to. I think, like me, I wouldn't call myself a feminist, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't call myself a feminist, but I believe in, like, you know, all the, like, everything that they stand for, and I I went to the Women's Day march, like marching with them. I'm like, I don't really know exactly everything, but I believe in like some of the stuff that you guys are talking about. And I mean, I'm a female, so I just feel obligated to go as well.
And then that's also a big thing. When it comes to feminism, there isn't many leaders. Like there are people who like pop up and like disappear, and pop up and they disappear. I think if you ever pursue something, you should always just look at the facts.
Yeah.
And I don't mean just look at one side. Look at both sides, and make sure you have a complete understanding of what's going on before you jump into something. Like with the Black Lives Matter thing, before when it came out, like videos would come up of certain things happening. Like say when protesters blocked the streets, I took my personal feelings out of it. I couldn't go in with personal feelings. I'd look at it, how it's done by law, and how it looks. The situation was, one of my white friends, I'm gonna say white because he's the only person that ever does this. He posted a video of black people blocking the freeway, and he said, I would have hit them. And I was like, so you think because someone's standing in the middle of the road that you could hit them and not get arrested for manslaughter if they die or anything like that? And I was like, I hope you do know that you are allowed to protest on anything that is public, which means the street. The street is public property. You can be out there. Now it might be inconvenient to you, and I'm sorry about and I can't help you with that, but you just talked about murdering someone because of the way they protested. So, again,
you just talked about murdering someone.
Period. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
So, my biggest thing is if you're going to be for something, look into it.
Yeah.
Because I would hate. Now, what do you think would happen if the older generation leaves or stops doing something, and then the younger generation comes in? They don't have a full grasp on anything. They don't know. All they know is what they've been told down. They haven't looked at anything. Yeah. So again, everyone, I believe everyone here agrees that feminism needs to happen, and then we just come to the conclusion that it needs to happen on equality on all fronts. You don't get to pick and choose. But I mean,
but it should also.
That's perfect.
Yeah. But it also needs for it to really be able to do anything for the community, it needs to build a leadership and something to follow.
Have accountable.
Yeah, the reason why back in the day, with civil rights, they had someone to look to, like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. Those people leading that you could actually see. You can look from their words, but here, there's with feminism, there's not much for people who want to know about it that they can look to. That they're actually going out and doing stuff. There's different people here and different people here, different people here. Everything always needs a face. That's why there's a president of an organization or a country. There's always we're gonna need someone that we believe in, or we need a vision, a person.
Yeah. Emily, pick the next question because Emily has to speak.
Any question now?
All right. So you let me know which one you want to choose, or you can pick either one.
This one.
Okay. All right.
She doesn't get to see him.
Yeah.
It just fits one up.
What's it about?
I'm scared.
I'm scared for y'all.
Oh my god.
So you
What
scared
is
for us?
it?
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
No,
So-
it's been a dream.
I blush.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Read the question.
What is it? I be blushing.
Oh yeah, I'm scared.
I don't want to be
I'm
embarrassed.
really shy, everybody. So this is a big thing for me.
I can't plan this.
How hard is it to date someone in the scene?
I can't help you.
Say my answer.
Oh, Jesus!
Okay.
I have no.
You should have experience with this third girl.
I know. I
Third
listen.
girl. First
I got nothing to report.
Damn, I
Me
didn't
either.
do that. That's crazy.
Emily, you picked it. You first.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my beginning opinion on it. When I was younger, and I thought it was I used to think it was a great idea because you would share this experience. Dance is my it's my passion. It's what I work for. It's the thing that keeps me happy. And then you would want to share. You would want to share that with somebody because dance is such a unique thing that not a lot of people understand the lifestyle. Because if you just play sports, I used to play basketball, so I kind of knew that sport aspect. But that's a very general thing because a lot of people in high school play sports and middle school, but not a lot of people dance. So to share that aspect with somebody, it was important for me because I just lived such a different lifestyle for dance. As I'm older now, I kind of like, and I've experienced it being in the scene. I realize how small the scene is. How much the scene is it's a very, very small community, and it's just like the scene is like a high school in itself.
Yeah.
And I'm like a little bit lucky enough to not like be fully immersed in this scene up here, so that I don't really know. I live kind of farther, so I'm not really immersed in the scene as everybody else. But I think it's like right now, it's being older. You kind of get a different aspect of dating someone outside the scene, because it just brings like a whole different perspective into you. Because the scene is so small, it's just like, I think everyone understands. It's just really, it's hard, because like you see this person all the time, and then like you don't know how you feel about it, and then yeah. But I think it's hard, but I think it's like, it depends on like a person's relationship with somebody, and like your relationship we have with everybody else. If you meet somebody and they're in the scene and it works out, like that's awesome. If it doesn't, then you're not in a way that's screwed, but hopefully you can like work it out in a way where
It
it doesn't affect yourself as a dancer, yourself as a person, your friends if you're in a crew, if you're like, the scene like itself. I'm open to date anybody, because I feel like people are more like interested in, like people outside the scene are more like, I think are really interested in like getting to know somebody in this lifestyle. So I still don't think it's a bad or a good thing. It's just personal what you have with that person. And
Miss Summers, what do you think on this situation?
I actually don't think it's any more difficult to date someone in the scene than it is to date someone else that's within any other kind of friend group. I've been lucky in that both of the people that I've been with since moving to Orlando have been in the scene and have really helped me to meet other people and make other connections along the way. Like, I wouldn't be in the dance scene at all were it not for the first person that I dated in Orlando. So I think that as much as it can suck, like you're around each other and like all of your friends are mutual and it's just kind of a mess afterwards, I have a hard time seeing myself dating someone that doesn't have, maybe not dance, but have some kind of creative outlet like that. Because I feel like that really helps you get to know a person in a different way. So
And I want to add something about that. If that person's like not creative in some way, they just don't get you. Because like I feel like dancers have like this special, even if you dance or you paint or you sing, if you do something in the arts, if it's like really true that if someone doesn't do something artistic, they really won't understand. So,
I disagree to the fullest, only because you have people that never did anything artistic in their life, and those are the type of people who go out to art shows, go out to these places and buy art and sell art. It's like they don't do anything necessarily artistic, but they can completely understand it and have a love for it just as much as we do.
I think even people who
Also
don't
perspective.
understand it though, that I don't know if that's what she was going
Yeah,
for, but
like
like people who
people who
completely don't understand
Yeah.
art at all.
like
I
for
feel
people, I
like
just feel like, because there's like people that just like wake up,
the muggles.
go to work,
Mm-hmm.
have a
I feel
family,
the same.
come home, cook dinner, walk their dog, watch TV, go to
Yeah.
sleep, and then
Yeah.
like it's like those people that don't appreciate like
The time that you mean to talk about the time you put into it.
Correct.
And they
Like
don't
that
understand. They're like,
just-
oh, why are you spending so much time
Right.
dancing? You've been
Yeah, why
dancing
are
for
you-
7 hours. Like, because I'm dancing. Like, this is my art. This is my thing. Like,
So
Yeah.
what's your take on dating people in the scene?
I think it's hard. It's hard as fuck. Because like Emily said, the scene is like a high school. And not even just like in the Florida scene, like all across the country, all across the world, like it's fucking small.
yeah.
And whenever you date within a lot of people have this, like she said, a lot of people have this common misconception that, oh, like, I'm gonna date a dancer, I'm gonna date another dancer, we're gonna be this dynamic duo, it's gonna be the best fucking thing ever, we're gonna be tight as shit, and it's like, no, that's not how it works. And for some people it does, you know, like some people, it works for them and that's fucking awesome, but it's just like any other relationship, it's hard. And then on top of it being hard, just like in a regular relationship, then you have all of the dance shit involved as well. So you might be doing you might be in two separate dance teams, or traveling and going 2 separate places, which takes a lot of time away from one another. Or you might be on the same team, which means that you're spending even more time with each other. And then so like stuff like rehearsals and shit like that, where it's fucking exhausting. And then afterwards, it's like, now I have to fucking deal with the relationship stuff after dealing with fucking dance team shit.
Yeah, I think, I think a lot of dancers in general have a problem with forgetting that they're also people. Like, the same thing as far as like when like 2 dancers get in a fight or whatever, and they're like, oh, let's battle it out. No, you need to talk to that person. You wanna punch him in the
Who
face
does
or
that?
I don't
like,
battle
It's
it
a big
out.
proper thing.
yeah, I think it's just like, it's very like it's hard and it's a double-edged sword. It's a very like, it's 2 different things. Like if it works, then it works and you stay with the person for probably a long time. Like for example, they both work at Vibe. I think Z and Julia. Z and Julia. They like the second they got together, they linked up, and now they're like about to get married. I'm like, I don't know how long.
They've been together for a minute.
Yeah, but
They are getting married.
Yeah,
What,
they're
like
married
March
soon.
or something?
So yeah, I think it works and I think it's great, but you have to have boundaries as a person. Like you can't just always think as a dancer, like, oh, it's gonna be cool, it's gonna be great, because you go in there with those, goals or however you look at it, and then it doesn't turn out to be that way, and you hate and resent the person, and then you break up, and then that person goes on and talks about you behind your back or whatever. Like I have a big rule, like I don't date, like whenever before I got with Crystal, I had a rule where like if that person was been with someone in the scene, then I wouldn't talk to them. Like if they've never listened, then I would talk.
You've been lied to.
Listen, I was just about to say this. It's so similar. Like if you look at it in high school, like all the 4 years that you were in high school and all the drama that revolved around relationships and how many friendships and stuff were lost because of a relationship that you were in. It's like in the scene, whenever you date someone and you split up, because if you are like familiar with everybody and know everybody like that, the moment that they or you start dating someone else in the scene, it causes issues. No matter how much that person wants to be like, oh, it's fine. Like whenever you have feelings for somebody, regardless of after it's ended, there's still gonna be some like, oh, why is he with her, or why is she with that nigga? Like there's always gonna be that resentment, and then whoever the guy or girl that person is with afterwards, depending on your relationship with them prior to them dating your ex now, can just lead to a whole stray of things. And then like what Tyler was saying is dancers like to deal with shit like it's a movie. Like, yo, I'm gonna see you at the spot, we're gonna battle it out. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna battle for her love. Like, no, it doesn't work like that, and it's just
But people really do that.
Yeah, they do that, yo.
That's crazy.
I've never.
It's not said like that, but it happens like that.
Yeah.
So
like there's animosity and shit that happens, and people try to battle over some girl, and I'm just like, or some dude too, like, and it's, yo, you can go to some of these events and you could tell who has a problem with who over a fucking relationship.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so much harder.
So I say this coming from the South Florida scene, even though we're one whole scene, it's crazy because there's certain people I can't hang with because they used to talk to somebody else, and I only do that because I respect that male dancer. I can't hang with his ex-girlfriend because that's gonna cause problems, even if I knew her before them or not. It's just, the respect level. Now in the Orlando scene, now I'm here, I don't know much of all the dancers and who they used to talk to, so I'm very mindful of my approach, because I don't want no one thinking, oh, he's coming up here trying to just mess with all these dancers, this and that. I got face. I wouldn't say I'm a public figure, but because I have a clothing brand, I have a reputation to uphold. I can't have people just talking back or talking down on me or even saying anything
Note to
That's not true. You know.
Quit this nigga.
So it's funny because I ain't gonna lie. I have a few crushes in Orlando, but I'm not gonna.
Have your crush.
Okay. Something else, y'all know a lot about me today. So I have this thing where I don't know if have you guys all seen the Disney Hercules?
Yeah.
You know those three sisters that are always together, the weird sisters?
Yeah.
That's me. So whatever drama or shade goes down, it will always find its way to me. And most of it is couple related. It's crazy. And I have this weird thing where I want to date a b-boy. Not anymore. I was like, I'm gonna date a b-boy, we're gonna do this and this together, da da da. But then I hear how easy people open their legs for each other in the scene. So I have this thing where I wait, I talk to someone for 2 months, and then the boyfriend title comes up, and then I wait 6 months after that for them to get anything from me, right? So there's this dude that I find attractive who I want to date, but he's a b-boy that lives in Tampa. And I always thought this person was attractive. I will not talk to this person, I will not approach this person, mainly because when he started dating someone, he wouldn't say anything to me. He wouldn't speak. He'd speak to everybody, like, he'll walk right past me, right? As soon as that person came, we were all practicing at an area that we practiced at, and he brought the person with him. And then walks over to me and says, hey, they want to learn how to do this, this, and this. I'm like, beautiful? Who? So my biggest thing, also my biggest fear is that if I was to ever go into like a club or like an event and they were like, hey, yeah, I had that, or yeah, I had that, and I had that too, man. I never want to be that person, because the scene is so small. Like, if I was to whisper in her ear, by the time like 2 days later, someone from fucking South Florida is gonna know what I said. Like, I'm not saying that she says that. She's very, very good at keeping secrets. She keeps a good secret. But like it's that small, and I never grasped the concept of, cause I got some names of people who sleep around, like who like will jump from person to person, a homie hopper, who will jump from person to person and sleep with them, and then it's like, are you serious right now? It's like you would open yourself up that much to these people that you know for like maybe months on end. And then get mad when someone calls you out, or someone calls you like a disrespectful name or something like that. It's like, girl, you put yourself out there, or boy, you put yourself out there. You're gonna get that backlash. The scene is too small to be. For me personally, I can't date within the scene. Yeah. I had that fantasy of like, oh, girl, follow me to dance floor. Unless they come from overseas or they from a different scene, I'm not touching it. Yeah. It won't happen. Almost call me.
Side note.
That's my point.
Because Trey's acting up. Trey don't wanna. But I heard some things about Trey.
Oh God.
I don't know if I want to go down that route.
What was the original question? Sorry.
Dating in the scene.
Was it like hard? How hard is it?
Is it hard to date somebody in the scene? Not how hard, but is it?
Is it hard? Yeah, I mean, I think it would be hard because, like, I think it's just hard to date somebody who's not a genuine, honest person, really. In the scene.
Are you speaking from personal experiences, or is this just off the top of your head?
This off the top of my head. Because I feel like, oh no, we gotta get past all this human stuff here, and all these human thoughts of like gossiping and going around and stuff. Because like, or like this person is like over there, so I can't talk to. Like he was saying, I just think we gotta get over that. And it's a high school mentality, but again, we never grew up. We always are in that. Like we're always around those people who have those minds. Mm-hmm. So, I just think you have to just find a good person who, like he said over there, like can just balance out with. I mean, unless you're a bad person, just have a good. You both should have open and honest relationship, basically, because. I've been shunned by a whole entire team, like, because of, like, things that really don't matter. And I think that...
I wouldn't shun nobody. I'm just not going to take it far. Like, we're going to go to the movies and, stick it out.
It's like that. It's like when some people are like, okay, you guys are done, or they create this, like their own opinion on
Right.
you. They don't know anything. Like I really keep all my relationships, or I try to, private and like just like or who I'm liking or whatever private. And people could probably see pictures and they literally just think of something.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, so you talking to this now? You talking to this now? I'm like, I'm just posting a picture, you know? I ain't say nothing on the couch or nothing. So people get so hyped and they make their own opinions, and that's how you get shunned from like a whole crew or something, because they all have this like mentality, or they all have their own, this thought of something bad or whatever that they think of you.
Oh yeah,
Especially if they fangirling over somebody.
But also, if they can't, like, I feel like the maturity of not really, like, being bothered by the person who, like, your ex talks to now should be there, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
if they don't have that, then you shouldn't have been messing with them in the first place.
Exactly.
You guys are grown. Like, you know, everyone here is 20 and up. And in the scene,
Yeah,
there's a
that's
lot of
not
young
grown.
people, too.
Right.
But there's a lot of older
I'm
people.
gonna be honest, that's not grown.
Yeah.
I think grown is a mentality.
Yeah.
grown is
It's how you
not an
hold
age.
yourself. Well, it's not an age, but I'm just...
Well, legally you're an adult.
Legally, I'm an adult.
Yeah.
You should be able, like, not everyone, even some people I know that are older than me by a lot, they still act very childishly when they're in education. No.
This nigga's called me old.
No, like people that I know personally, but like they act very childish in like relationships, and they won't talk to a person's ex because, or whatever it is, because of something that happened 20,000 years ago or whatever. That's irrelevant. That shouldn't be determining if you're friends or not, or like if you can dance in the same place as somebody else. You should never feel like shunned because of this person, you know, like.
So pertaining to this question about is it hard? It's not hard to find someone. The hard part, I think, is what comes after you guys get together and or break up.
Yes.
It's not so much you guys like splitting, if you guys split on good terms or bad terms, obviously, but it's the people around you, like how they react.
And everybody
how they,
asks
how,
you.
yeah, how they're gonna
It's
react.
really the community.
That shit's hard. it's hard in a relationship simply for the fact that niggas in dancing are fucking thirsty. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Niggas
Straight
are
niggas
so
and dancing
thirsty.
are fucking thirsty.
Niggas are so thirsty. Literally, anytime a female comes, and I'm gonna speak more so from the freestyle as opposed to choreography scene or like studio scene, because I don't really know so much. But anytime a female comes around, it's always, yo, you want to train? You want me to teach you some stuff? Always. And it's like, and even if you're in a relationship, it's like, niggas are like, oh, what's up? Blah, blah, like, on the low, that shit's hard. That shit's super dead.
Like, no Facebook messengers, you'll see.
Yo.
Yeah. It's respect.
Niggas are foul, but what makes it so much what makes it so much harder though is the simple fact that because there's people outside of dance that are gonna do the same thing.
Right.
Like you could be with your girl and go to the club, and some non-dancing niggas are gonna try to hit on her anyway. It's just that the fact that the scene is so small and we know each other is what makes it even harder.
Right.
So I have a question. Why don't you save some people some trouble and just name a few of these boys that are undercover thirsty?
It's a vast.
It's all of them.
It's a vast majority, and I mean like even outside of knowing, because some, like Tina said, she likes to keep her relationships private. Some people be in relationships and people have no idea.
Yeah.
And that's like, what is somebody supposed to do? Because if I'm interested in a chick and I assume that she's single and she's fucking some girls, especially dancers, female dancers have like very outgoing personalities,
Right.
which can be mistaken as flirty and everything else. So if she's giving all the right signs, I'm gonna be like, yo, what's up? Just like that. So if there's no way of knowing that this person's in a relationship, that's what makes it so hard, especially from a man's perspective, because there's very little women in the scene and so many men. And it's just like these niggas are vultures. The shit's out of control.
I also think it's kind of hard. I mean, I've never ran into this problem, but kind of, I don't know. But I think it's hard because us as dancers, we have a passion to be somewhere. We have a goal, and a lot of dancers are like so focused on dance. So it's like, how are you supposed to, like, if you want to get in a relationship with that person and they're so focused on dance, they really don't know how to be, like you were saying, human or something else besides a dancer. I think to, like, I guess getting in a relationship, that could be a hard thing to think about because I've heard it.
And on top of that, like, what she was saying, like, it's always dance, like, hours every day, every other day, like, we're dancing. A lot of people don't have stuff outside of dance. So it's like they don't have any other social groups to meet people.
Yeah.
Which is why people are always dating in the scene, and then that's what makes it so fucking hard. Is you have a handful of women in comparison to the men in the dance scene, which, I mean, there's more and more women coming into the dance culture now. But there's still a vast majority, a lot less women in the scene, which causes all these men who only dance all the time to only go after these women who are dancers, which makes everybody who's in a relationship that is dancing that much harder because there's somebody trying to be a fucking homewrecker.
I say date out of dancing, but then again, if you bring them to any of your events, they're still gonna be thirsty.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, you know, it's what you want to
Men
do
will
with
be
it.
thirsty. That's it.
I don't run into this problem because I'm on a different team. I mean, if you can ask any one of them, I'm gonna message you no matter what. Like, I'm not like in a sexual, like, I want you kind of way, but I'm gonna with you because it's gonna be fun. But as far as like liking someone, I don't think I like anyone in the scene, or it's been a while since Amos left. And Trey keeps turning me down. So I mean, there's. So I mean, honestly, like, me stepping back and being someone who just looks at a lot of things. Again, I'm a shady person, and I love drama. I don't like to cause it, but if it's going on, you better believe I'm like right there looking at it. Like, I'm that bitch. And it I won't say it bothers me. It bothers me when I look at some relationships that could have worked out, but then an outside force, like someone comes in and. But it also bothers me is. Adding on to this question for everyone, if someone is in a relationship and they're entertaining someone else, do you tell the other person or no? Yes. Or do you leave it alone in the dance scene?
Depends on who it is. Circumstantial.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to dip my toes in nobody else's fucking business, because then you get dragged into it. Nah.
So if I got a nigga and he from another nigga, you ain't gonna tell
That's
him?
different because we're close.
Okay, so
that's what I'm saying. It's circumstantial.
Yeah,
If I see somebody, I'm like, oh, okay, you know, I know them. I know they're in a relationship. I see them fucking around with somebody else. I'm like, you know what? I don't know what the fuck they got going on. They could be in an open relationship, whatever. It's none of my business, yo. And I don't want to be any part of it because that just causes even more drama.
Tell me.
Got enough of that
If
shit.
it's someone you're close with, though, I feel like it's fucked up to not say something.
Yeah. Even if like they don't listen to you, at least you said something.
Yeah.
I think you should ask before you say. I think that's what a lot of people have a problem with.
Yeah.
That is true.
What do you mean?
Like
Asking if
What's going on? with
yeah,
their
as
relationship?
opposed to assuming like, oh, this is what's going on. You
Like-
need to
Oh no,
Yeah.
I
Like,
mean
hey, have you noticed?
maybe because I'm just that person. Like, I walk if I see, say if you're dating someone and someone else and you're like with someone else, I'm walking like, hey, so who's this? Oh hi guys.
I never bring in my girls
I want next question.
Let's go. Next question.
It's your question, Cat.
Please not be a relationship.
Please no.
Right?
Please God.
Let's talk dance related.
Right.
Get back to dancing.
We haven't had. Oh, wait, we have had.
We did.
Ho 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 ho! How do you feel about coming into the scene versus being in it now?
You gotta answer it first.
I know that. I'm gathering my thoughts because.
Shit.
All right, so when I first started, it was always like, yeah, you know, the dance scene. I'm gonna be a dancer. Da da da. As you guys know, I'm mostly known for voguing, even though I have several other styles on my belt. That's what I did when I first started. When I first started, and I still now, there is no positive representation of a voguer in the scene but me. Everyone else in the everyone else who attempts to vogue in the Florida scene vogues like a virgin. And in the ballroom scene, that means they just start out. They're not like, and then there's like the big girls and the virgins that they're just starting out. So when I first came in, my style was not understood. that pushed me to get better at what I do and try to translate it to everything else. Like whoever sees it knows what I'm doing, right? Back then, we had so many different people doing. They might be doing the same style, but it was so different. It was like you could listen to them and you could never know, like that either that they train together or they're in the same crew or stuff like that. But now I look now and it's like I don't want to battle. It's so boring to me. It's not the battles themselves. It's just that I feel like if I battle one person, I've already battled for the people.
There, yeah.
So.
What do you
So okay, so people. Again, I'm that bitch. I was asked a question. There are. Say if we're in a crew, I vote, you do hip hop. We won't look together. We won't look the same. It's impossible because we do these damn styles.
Yeah.
But say if you vote and I vote, if we're working together so much, what starts to happen?
Oh, we start looking like.
So start looking alike.
Understand.
Even though you might not look exactly the same, you might start to do certain moves differently, but they look alike.
Yeah.
Like when people steal moves from people that are actually out on YouTube, and then try to remix them, and it doesn't work so well.
You do the same thing.
I just feel now like there's no want to be out there in the scene right now. There is no, again, I'm the person that's like, okay, you're good, I want to take you out. Or you're good, I want to take you out. Or you have potential, let me point you in a certain way that you get better. So then later on, I can take you out. That's my mindset. But when I look at these people, I'm just like, okay, if I battle you and I take you out, and I battle this person, and I feel like I battle the same person, it's like, and then the thing with fundamentals, no one's learning the fundamental of their style, but they're trying to take from other styles and put it and like throw it together in this melting pot, and it does not look good. It does not work. When me and Jolene are together at a jam, if you ever just see me and Jolene together, just know that we're talking about something fundamental based or the way it's perceived. Now, this is all from us like looking at things. Like if I see a whacker come out and she just throwing her hands around, obviously I know, yes, I do know how to whack, but I do not whack. And then if they're doing it wrong, of course I'm gonna. Same thing when it comes to voguing. Same thing when it comes to popping and stuff like that. Like I can't do the b-boy because I don't know what I'm looking at. So that's a no. But I've been around so much, especially so many talented people that not even training with, just being around in general. And it's like, okay, so then I look at this and I'm like, well, damn, what you doing? And I understand that people are in their own development when it comes to a style. I understand that. But it's just I don't
You
feel
have to
like
have the foundation.
even then, if you have the foundation and you pop your ass off, I don't think dancers understand the difference between just dancing and doing moves and actually performing and doing moves. I think that they think that because I'm battling, I gotta be a certain way, and it doesn't read very well. And so when I watch something, put it this way, if I watch you in the first 6 seconds, I'm bored, I'm gonna look away. It's just me. That goes like you can be aggressive and still be a performer. You can be a lady and still be a performer. You can be like, it's there. It's just that I just don't. Right now, there's no need there's no want for me to be out there. Like there is literally not one person except when maybe that one, Alvin comes down to battle, when Trey signs up, or when J-Rock signs up. It's like, okay, I haven't battled him enough. I've battled him like once. I battled J-Rock 3 times, and he beat me once. Like but those battles make me want to come out. But then when I look at a list, I'm like, no, I'm just gonna go to watch. Like I just don't feel like I want to be in the scene like that anymore. I feel like I gotta travel now.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Because I ain't gonna lie, because even when I started dancing, the scene was different. We didn't have jams. We was going to the beach, parking lot, schools, and we was battling. So now, coming into the new era, we throwing jams, and by the way, it's less jams now than it was a few years ago. Now people don't want to, battle. Me per se, I would love to battle. I always come in late because I'm at work. But it's just like, I never get that chance. So my name's not up there with anybody. So I'll just be like, all right, cool, whatever. I'll host jams, do what I do. But at the same time, like you said, there's no excitement.
Yeah, I feel like compared to where I was back then to where I was now, that I was so oblivious to certain things, to how young I was. I never knew like how dope the scene was back then, how much like people had and everything. Like for example, like TIB, it was a church in St. Pete. They used to sanction like b-boys and anyone who just wanted to get down, every Sunday. And Tuesdays. Yeah, Tuesdays. But like stuff like that, like now it's closed or whatever, and like we don't have stuff like that. And I feel like even with jams, like having so many jams and stuff like that, even though like and now people are starting to say like their competition's not jams or whatever, but it's kind of like destroyed the essence of certain things, like how you were saying, like people used to battle just whenever. Like now that won't happen. People will wait until a jam to see if they get paired up with someone and like, oh yeah, okay, now I can battle you, instead of just being like, let me battle you real quick. And like even with like ciphers, like parties, like you'll go to a party now and then like there'll be like a bunch of people circled up in a cipher watching one person dance when everybody else could just enjoy themselves and dance as well. And it's just like I never noticed how broken it was until just recently. But I also feel like in certain ways we've as a scene as a whole, like we've grown like a lot as far as like just becoming more aware of stuff and trying to experiment with things like your neo soul battle. Like a few years ago, that probably would have been like laughed at or something like that. Like people would not show up or whatever. People would call it bad or whatever. But it was actually really, really successful in certain ways. And I feel like we need more stuff like that and less pointless competitions, or less frequent competitions of the same thing, and more things with purpose to them.
And to add on to your Cypher thing, people are scared of Cypher now. Back then, we Cypher to have fun and to level up. Because if Dante Cypher, I'm going to learn something from Dante. That's going to give me energy to want to go out there and do something totally raw. And then to the next time I do a Cypher, I know that I just leveled up and I learned something. People just there watching the same old people, and that's it. They don't want to experience and learn from the next person. That's what we do for dancing. We're getting all this energy from each other. Guess what? We're all gonna level up.
And then also the thing on like foundation, what Kat was saying, I feel like people starting out have no excuse for if they want to learn to get better. Like we have people like Dante, who's like an excellent popper, but for some reason he doesn't look like everybody else when he does it. Like he has the foundation, but he has something else. Like something that Hans was telling me, like not to dance foundation. Like you don't dance foundation, you use foundation to, I guess, display how you want to dance in a better way, or like pronounce how you want to dance in a better way.
With that, not a lot of dancers, especially when I came in, not a lot of the OGs were present. They weren't
disconnect.
They weren't there to be like, okay, let me teach you the foundation the right way, get you out on a good foot, and then let you go into the world and learn your own style. That was not, well, onto that back. For the other styles, that was not there. As a voguer in the voguing scene, you have a vogue mother, someone who will literally teach you everything, and is like, okay, these are your 5 elements that you have to hit, that you have to do, and once that's taught, she backs up and she's like, okay, go on and do what you want to do. But we practice literally always at least once a month, and that means everyone from Florida would go to one area and we practice together, whether it be voguing, whether it be runway, whether it be design, whether it be hand performance, whatever. I came out of that scene, and then when I started into this scene, right off the bat, I was like, okay, there are no OGs that are reaching in. There are no OGs that are teaching classes and stuff like that. So these kids are, we're basically out here wandering in the dark and trying to find a light or something to cling on to, and that's a big thing. So within this scene, sorry to say, people like boom, 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 and soon will be considered the older OGs now. Like not like when I say OG, I don't mean like really old. I mean someone who's a staple or like in the scene. Like when it comes to a certain style, like when it comes to popping, right off the bat, you can name like 3 people that you're like, okay, boom, boom, they're poppers. This is one I learned from. When it comes to crumping, boom, boom. When it comes to hip hop, when it comes to voguing, when it comes to whacking, these people that pop in your heads, but you can't say that that person's gonna take you under their wing.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't say that that person's gonna be like, yeah, I'll give you the time of day, because they're still working on their own stuff, and some people like me just don't want to be bothered.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that, I actually help out a lot of people. Thank you very much. Okay, but it's not just there isn't a really big access to fundamental things.
Yeah.
I think YouTube is a big thing to blame, because on YouTube you can put out whatever you want and title it whatever you want, and then people will be like, oh, this is what I'm doing. And then what I really hate is that when someone does that, an OG will get online and try to like bash a certain part or destroy a certain part of the scene, and it's like, but where were you when this person needed help? Where were you? And then that's why people don't get into ciphers, because as long as you're in a cipher, there's a right way and there's a wrong way to approach someone who does something wrong. If I pull you aside and I'm like, yo, check this, work on this, work on this, work on this, or if I call you out on the cipher like, yo, you're trash, and I'm gonna show you what it's really supposed to be about, they're gonna step back and be like, well shit, I'm not gonna go on there again. Sitting at jams, I guess we need to teach the younger generation that just because you don't make a top 16 or a top 8, that does not mean nothing about the way you dance. It's always going to be a judge's opinion. Period, point blank. I just think that a lot of people are weak, and I'm sorry to phrase it like that, but you're weak. You got to realize that when you're dancing, a lot of people are going to have an opinion about it. But also within a style, your fundamental is there, so you have a starting block. Then whatever you build on top is you. The house that you build is what you live in, and you can't just take random pieces without like a foundation, because then your shit's gonna fall. And that goes with the biters and everyone too, with that sense of like I say like when you go in a cipher and you call someone out and there's a right way and a wrong way. If we have a biter in the scene, we have a law. If we have a biter in the scene, they gotta be pulled aside and let know. Like as a group, we have to be able to call out bullshit, but we also have to be able to take the younger generation and be like, okay, let me try to help you as best as I can. That's simply because we didn't have that. Well, I don't know if y'all will be in our same age group, because they all have babies, but like we didn't have that, and we still don't have that. There is no, like, a lot of the OGs are just not fucking with the new generation. It's just how it is.
I was gonna say, cause like I've only been freestyling for 2 years. I didn't know it was a thing at all until like 2 years ago, and like it was just really hard to like talk to people. Like my first event ever was Thesis, like 3 years ago. So like I came in, I was like, hi, hello, how are you? And everyone was just like, no, seriously, they did. Like everyone was like, who are you? And like they wouldn't like talk to me. I just wanted to learn, And it was like as they started seeing me more, and as people started like learning who I was, now people are like more open to like, oh, I'll help you, oh, I'll dance with you or whatever like that. But like when you first get in there, you're just really like, you're literally a chicken running with your head cut off, because you're just like, nobody really knows who I am. Nobody wants to talk to me. Nobody wants to show me what to do. So I'm just gonna try and do everything that they're doing because I want to be like them. You know what I mean? And I just really wish that like it would be way more like more receptive, open and like welcoming to the new people, because like that's why like even like me, I get very nervous to cipher, and I know a lot of people in the scene, but it's just because like I don't want to do like, not that I don't want to do the wrong thing, because like I'll just dance, do whatever I want, but like I don't want to represent a style incorrectly, you know what I mean? And that also comes with training, but it's like also like it's really hard for the new people to be trained, because there's no one like really there to help us.
So but also I have a question. So if someone was to approach you, knowing your style level, and was like, can you teach me? And you know that you can't teach them, so you direct them to someone else. But if you know you can teach them, would you pick that person up? Like, would you be like, meet me, let's figure out something so we can work together? Would you be open to doing that?
For sure. No, circumstantial. This is what a lot of people don't understand. Like, so whenever I first came in the scene,
it was booty.
I was, but I grew fast, and whenever people saw me grow, a lot of people were like, oh, Dante this, Dante that, oh, I want to train with you, I want to learn with you. And after a few years of hearing that, like, oh, I want to train with you, train me, let's practice together, all that shit, and then seeing how many people don't take the initiative to do it, it gets fucking tiring. Like, I'm not gonna keep putting effort, or whenever people do come to train, and they come for a couple times and they just go out and do their own thing, and then they're doing the wrong shit because they only practice with you one time, or they only watched 1 or 2 videos that you sent them. So like, after a while it gets fucking tiring, and then you become selective of who you want to deal with, which is why whenever there's new people who come into the scene and they're like, hey, I want to learn, I want to do this, it's like, okay, well, go look up this. Like, I'm not about to put my energy into you for you to just waste my fucking time because I don't have a lot of it.
But with that, why would you, like, I know you don't go out practice like that. Like, you don't like go somewhere. Like, I normally, like, I have an area where I practice, and I go there regardless if I'm by myself or with a crew. Like, I go there to practice. So if someone comes to me and was like, hey, I want to learn, I'm like, okay, well, I'm normally here at this time and this time. I'm not breaking my, like, time constraint for you. So if they show up, they show up, and if they don't, they don't. But my thing was, like, so if you train, because I know you don't train like others, but if you train somewhere and you're like, okay, I train normal during this time, would you let that person, and that person showed up, would you take the initiative to train them?
No. Only because I'm still new in the dance scene. Relatively, I've been dancing for going on 6 years this year. I've only been in the scene going on for 6 years, and I'm still trying to grow myself. To train someone takes a lot of time away from yourself. Now, it's different to train with someone than it is to train someone, because if I'm working with you on stuff, then we're both progressing. If I'm training you, I'm stopping what I'm doing to bring you up to speed or further you, depending on if it's somebody that I'm training and I want to be a 2-on-2 partner with, or if it's someone that I'm training to be a part of this dance team, or whatever the case may be. If you're training someone, you're stopping yourself to help them.
So fundamental-wise? So I'm not talking about, like, above and beyond on the fundamentals.
But to be honest, that's where a lot of OGs don't train, because they have to stop what they're doing, other than their family that they have or whatever. They have to stop everything they're doing just to make sure you're getting it right. Because when you go out there, you're representing that OG. Mm-hmm. And if you make them look bad, they're gonna want to stop training because they're like, yeah, you're not progressing.
I feel like this is another like double-edged blade type of question, where like if you're new in the scene, you have to be open enough to have someone come up to you and tell you, look, you're either biting, or this is not good, or your style isn't fully, like, it's not nice or whatever, and be okay with the constructive criticism for you to be better or whatever. And then at the same time, the OGs or whatever have to look at someone and not just be like, oh, that walkout wasn't like the way I wanted or whatever, and now I don't want to teach you or whatever because you're not going to get it right and you're going to represent me wrong or whatever. Like, they have to see that there's growth in whatever a person wants, but at the same time, the young person has to really, really work for it. Like, the old person can't meet you all the way. There has to be a bridge. Like, you can't meet the person, full way, you have to meet them halfway.
So,
and what?
Go ahead.
This is just another like example. Like, for example, I just recently found out that like Ian Eastwood, he was trained by Mr. Wiggles. Like, yeah, he doesn't look exactly like Mr. Wiggles, but do you think like if you just think for a second, like, would he still look the same way if he wasn't trained by Mr. Wiggles, or if he didn't take the time out to like really help him out, And now you have someone that's like someone that can like really help other people out. Like, you have to be able to look past yourself and look into a person and be like, yo, this person could be something really, really special. Let me help this person out.
But I think the issue of whenever I first came into the scene, the people that I was around and my mentors, the way it was shown to me, this culture is, it's not an all-inclusive culture. It's not like, oh, I'm not saying like they were like, oh, you can't be part of this, whatever. It's more like, if you want to be a part of this, you're going to do what you need to do to be a part of it. I feel like now, because dance once again has started becoming very, very mainstream, and everybody's like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to be a dancer, I want to be a hip hop dancer, all this. They feel like we're obligated to accept or to help whomever. And for the most part, this freestyle scene, even there's a lot of kids now, but for the most part, there's a lot of us adults. And as an adult, if you want to do something, you need to fucking do your own research and figure it out and find someone who's willing to train you. Like, nobody's obligated to help you do shit. And I know it would be nice that if whenever you came into something, it's like, oh, you know, I had these people were really welcoming and they helped me, but it's like, honestly, that's how you weed out the people who are just there because, oh, you know, it's a fad, and then the people who are doing it because they actually love it. Because I don't have time, and I don't want to be around people who are just doing it as a fad, because shit's fucking annoying. It's exhausting to be like, to see these people doing this and blow up or whatever by doing half-assed dance styles, you know, watered-down dance styles, doing all this other shit. So, like, whenever I first came into the scene, it was, and it could just be my lack of knowledge or awareness and me just being oblivious to everything else, but it just felt more pure at the time. Whereas now it's like, everybody's just on some bullshit a lot.
But I mean, when I say like, if someone comes up and asks you to help them, I'm not saying like you're walking around like, hey, you're new, let me help you, or hey, you're new, let me help. But if you take the initiative to come and talk to me, because again, me standing there, apparently I'm intimidated. So if you get past that and you're like, hey, I want to learn, I might not go out of my way to set up a time where it benefits you. I might let you know when I work, and then if you go there. Now, I don't know about every other style when it comes to fundamentals, but for my style, there are duck walk, catwalk. Like I have the thing. So if I show you one aspect of it, I might be over here doing what I need to do, what I came here to work on. And then, okay, so I'm working on that. If you have a question, I'm like, okay, answer your question and get back to me. Maybe because I just don't see it as me slowing down, because I don't train that much in the beginning, because I'm in two scenes. So if I'm not in this one, I'm in that one, and I'm still using the same style. But I see it as, when I first started training, I wanted to quit. So I don't understand why, well, I didn't obviously, believe it or still here, but I don't understand why if someone new is coming in and they're like, hey, can you train me, and you're not going out of your way, and then they end up quitting or leaving, didn't you just weed someone out?
Like in a
Now mind you, you're not going out of your way as saying, okay, you can only train at this time, so let me come to you. They're coming to you.
That's still, there's times and places for stuff like that. So like, for instance, whenever I first came into the scene, I didn't know anything about popping. I had no idea what popping was. I went to my second jam and I saw Oreo and Toy do a 2-on-2. It was actually Abdul and Toy versus Oreo and James. And that's the first time I saw Oreo, Toy, and Abdul popping, and Toy and Abdul locking. And I was like, that's what I want to fucking do. That shit's sad as fuck. And I went up to them and I was like, yo, what is that you're doing? They're like, oh, it's Boogaloo style. I was like, okay, bet. I went home and I Googled it, because Google is a fucking magic book of everything that people need to learn how to use. I Googled it and came across a mass amount of videos and shit that I could practice. Then I watched the videos I learned. I went out to wherever they could go out, or wherever I could go out with them, and I would dance in front of them and be like, what can I work on? As opposed to being like, hey, what time can you train me? Because for me, anytime that I'm training, I'm working on myself. So if I have to stop and answer a question, or if I have to stop and watch you do something to make sure you're doing it right, it's time away from me working on what I want to work on. Unless I see that you have invested enough time in yourself for me to be like, you know what, all right, now you're at the point where I feel like we can work together to where I can still help you, and I can go back and learn shit that you can possibly show me.
I guess I don't see
So like, you want that
it.
effort. You want
I
that
don't see
effort
it.
on their part.
Like, I
if you
don't-
were to
But
even.
like,
I think
it's
it's
not
different
teaching.
No, I know that. I'm just saying, it's like I don't see it as, okay, if maybe because I do this all the time, because I have a crew, and then I'm also a teacher at a studio. I never see, like, if I'm over there voguing and I'm feeling myself and I'm working on my stunts and stuff like that, and I have a girl who's learning, and she's like, can you do that again, or can you help me with my duck walk, or can you point? I can look over, because I know my style well enough to be like, to look at it and then like, okay, work on that, and then get back to what I'm doing.
Yeah, but it's got to the point now where you are close enough, or they're part of your team or whatever, that you're helping them. that you're okay with helping them. But if some random person was just like, while you're practicing, was like, hey, can you help me with this? Of course, it's harder to be like, no, I'm not going to help you, like whenever the person's standing right there, but I'm not going to invite somebody to my training session to be like, when I know they're going to be asking and wanting knowledge on shit. Because whenever somebody is completely new, and you can watch somebody and tell like they're completely new, you know following that there's going to be a lot of fucking questions. And I don't want to, personally, I don't want to deal with it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to deal with somebody who's going to be like, hey, how do you do this? How do you do this? Oh, can you do this again? Can you show me how to do this? And it's like, yo, go on fucking YouTube. And I mean, it's the internet age. Like,
So then
everything is there.
with that, no one can get mad when someone bites.
Yeah, like say.
Of course you can. You once it happens, then you educate them. Like, hey, this is what biting is. You want to make sure that you don't do this. But like I said, it's different for me because whenever I came into the scene, I was going out to the club and dancing with and in front of the people that I wanted to learn from. So instead of going to train, I would train on my own time, and then I would go out and practice as well at the clubs, in the Cyphers, and then whenever they have no choice but to either watch me or walk away, eventually they would watch me and be like, oh, and then I would be like, hey, I know you saw me dancing, so what can I work on? I just feel like there's a time and a place for everything, and not everybody's not cut from the same cloth, not everybody's the same.
Yeah, I feel like
it's different. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm saying me personally.
Yeah, I feel like say what you were about to say about the whole effort thing. I feel like it's not about the effort. It's just the fact that teaching someone or getting taught by someone is more so looked at as a luxury, to where you could do the same thing and learn the same way by yourself, or ask so and so about this just so you can help yourself keep going. But you don't necessarily need a teacher.
Yeah.
You can still do the things that you want to do by yourself.
I say that for me, I started dancing at 11. My brother been in the scene, so to be taught by him, he only taught me like probably 2 little touch sessions and a wave. And he basically said, learn the rest on your own. But he said, don't watch YouTube. So it was kind of hard for me to want to watch YouTube and try to progress, and my brother not wanting to show me. But then again, I understood it because if he trains me, I'm going to look like my brother. It's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
I already look like him. I don't want to dance like him. So it plays a role. So like Donnie said, going to the club, I seen dudes that's not in the dancing out here dancing. I probably took like 2 L's, and I'm like, wow, I lost to a person that can't really dance. They don't know anything. So I had to go back to the hyperbolic time chamber, really train, and really go out and give these dudes L's. I came to the scene and took L's because I'm beating dudes that can't really dance. Then I'm just above them by maybe two levels. But guess what? That made me a better dancer. So when I went back to my brother, now I'm learning whole different styles. Now I'm learning what to fix. So it's your patience, and then again, it's a little bit of effort. Because now I wanted to train and learn because now I don't want to lose. I got people watching.
I've heard from the teacher's perspective, and I've heard you from the perspective of learning. Now, when I asked the question, I asked about the fundamentals of. Now, how long did it take for someone to learn fundamentals? That's what I don't understand, because it took me literally like a week or 2 to learn the basic OI fundamentals and then work on them by myself.
I mean, I guess it depends on the style.
Yeah. I feel because it's like the same thing with the same thing with Issa was talking about light feet. How he was saying that it's easy to learn the steps, but it's harder to master it as a whole. Like certain styles require less effort to really learn the step, because walkouts are literally just walking out, whatever. But it takes longer to really make it your own or make it look the way it has to look.
And that's the problem. People don't like to learn the process. They don't like to drill. They like to sesh all the time and like work on. And that just works on your individuality and stuff. But like to actually, I think training or like drilling is better when you're with people because you're not as bored. I feel like training on your own, it's good and stuff, but like a lot of people don't have the strength or patience or determination to do that. And I think that's like the biggest problem. Someone will come up to you and you'll tell them all the foundation, but they're not going to drill that. They're just going to sesh at their house. They're just going to put some music on the dance.
And then when they come to battle, they get taken out. That's fine.
Yeah.
But my thing was, when it comes to like, if someone was like, I want to learn how to vote, I'm like, okay, this is the proper YouTube video done by a legendary person in our group. Look at it, and then if you have questions, ask me. I train at this time and this time. I've done this several times, and every single person I train with has quit. Every single person, because they think voting is easy and it's not. But for fundamentals, and I'm not talking about what happens after that. So I don't know fundamentals popping. So say if he was to explain the fundamental popping to someone, and then he goes and does his own thing. Yeah, it's up to that person to learn those fundamentals, obviously. But with this whole thing, like I said, when I came in, again, I had a style that no one was able to do. So my first style that I wanted to go to was housing. I had no OG there to help me. I had no one who I felt comfortable enough to like look at. That was, and then when I come and I look at now, I see these people who are coming in, and these crews are like just grabbing these new kids left and right, and then when they spit them out, they're carbon copies. And it's like, and you still don't know your fundamentals. So when I say like train someone, I don't mean like literally like taking them along the whole way of the style. I mean just the fundamentals. Because honestly, if I was gonna train you, I would do how my mom did when I learned how to swim. Hey, kick your legs. I'm gonna tell you what the fundamentals are, and then I'm like, now take this and make it your own. Now I understand that because Dante's an irritable person. It's just his nature. He's so pleasant. And again, when it's always me, him, and Alvin, if there's someone new, I will always make the joke first. I'm like, so which one are you gonna take it? Which one are you gonna take it? And Dante's always like, I'm busy. You know, something stupid. Alvin will look at me and be like, you can take him. I was like, not my style. I can't help him. I'm sorry. But I don't mean just grab anyone. Like say if you were new and you came up, you asked me, and I was like, the first time I was like, but then the next time you see me, you're like, so can you train me? Or I'm like, And then the third time you come back, it's like, so can you train me? I'm like, you know what? So she wants to learn.
Yeah.
Let her in. And no, we'll not let her in because between we can't be having that problem. But like, let me take her and show her. I don't want the ones who become the new generation, the new OGs. I don't want you guys to look at people and be like, I have to teach that person. No, I want you to go to a jam and teach that person over and over and over and over and over again. Be like, if they come up to me, I'll let out a little bit of knowledge and then see what they do from there.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be like, yeah, bro, meet me here and we'll work on this and this again. No, because like I said, our scene is weak. We have these. I'm sorry if this fits the wet bitch. We have people who get critiqued and they cry about it. We have people who ask me questions and then think they can go into a messenger and that I would not see it, and complain to their crewmates about, oh, Kat never says anything nice about me or what I do. And I was like, well, bitch, if I said what you did well, what do you go home and work on?
Yeah.
What you did well?
So yeah, I can get if it's like completely training, but for me when it comes to like just the fundamentals, if I tell you like, okay, there are 5 elements within voguing, and these are the 5 elements. Here's a video. Here's a video to look at. Let me know when you're done. And then they came in the practice like, look like. I was like, oh, so you actually went home and trained. Let me give you a bit more information. Like, I don't mind that, but I don't mean like hold someone's hand, because obviously our hands are not held when we came in, and look where we're at now. Compared to people who had their hands held the whole time and let carbon copies. I would prefer you to swim with the sharks and not be like protected the whole time.
I feel like, to get back to the original question,
What was the original?
how was the scene whenever you first started
Yeah.
to now? Like, to get back to the original question, I feel like whenever we first came into seeing the people in our generation or our time frame, we didn't really have anyone to hold our hands. We had some people to guide us here and there on different things, but fast forwarding to now, I feel like a lot of the people who have come up in that time, like alongside me, or maybe a little bit after or a little bit before, feel obligated because of the lack mentors or guidance that some of us may or may not have had at some point in time, there feels like an obligation to teach and train these new people, which is what's causing them to just teach them how to look like them as opposed to giving them the tools to learn how to dance and be themselves. And I also feel like whenever I first came into the scene, and again, this might just be my lack of awareness or my obliviousness, I feel like there was a lot less like haters before. So like, you know, I would go to events before, and you know, people, of course there were sometimes people that didn't like each other, different stuff like that, but for the most part it seemed like everybody was cool. Of course I was new, so I didn't really know, and I was just talking to everybody, trying to learn whatever I could. But now I feel like I'll go to an event or I'll go to a jam, and you know, I could see somebody, just you could see it all on their face, or like I'll watch the footage, and watch somebody dancing, and you'll see somebody that you know they've had issues with. They're just like being a hater, and it's like, it's one thing to, I can understand you want to hype up your friends or your crewmates sometimes, but it's one thing to overhype them, and then to look at somebody that you may have had issues with or whatever, and then like just hate, like straight up, like, yo, if somebody is good at what they're doing, they're good at what they're doing. You know, and I feel like before at least it was like, yo, if somebody did something dope, it was like, alright, that was dope. You know, but now I feel like it's just like, like they're looking at it like it's nothing, and I'm just like, that animosity or whatever it is in the scene right now, and it's a lot of it is what is killing the growth.
Yeah.
It is killing the growth.
You're relatively new.
Yeah.
What? How do you feel about the scene as is? Because you can't say how compared to now. You can't.
Compared to now.
For the YouTuber, or not YouTubers, for the video, I've been in the scene for about 2 years. It is going on YouTube, right? Or I'm gonna put it on YouTube then. So YouTuber,
YouTube.
whatever. So when I first came into the scene, I was a dubstep dancer. That's how much I didn't know. So,
ooh, girl, I almost threw my phone at you.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, that's how much I didn't know.
Okay.
I didn't know where to go, who to talk to, or anything like that. It took me... But it took me a minute to really, I guess... Alright, for example, when I started doing hip-hop, or popping, I did not know anything about foundation or anything like that. I didn't know that it existed. So, I didn't know who to talk to learn these things. So I was just walking around the scene, not knowing anything, you know? But now, I mean, since I've been here for 2 years, and I guess people are really, I guess, accepting that I'm here now. Yeah.
If they accept you before they...
Who's accepting?
Kat, you pointed at me single. You told me. You pointed at me.
I didn't say that. I accept you. I want to hear what you say. What about you, Em? Emily, you're a kind soul. I want to hear what your take is.
Oh, my take, I feel like for me it was like kind of a little different because I started as a choreo dancer, and then I was still like in the choreo scene, but then there was a select few that people who really did heavy choreo, and then I started like going into the like freestyle scene, and I didn't like, and it's been quite like a while because like my first jam was like Circuits like a long time ago, like the one that was, I forgot. It was like a while, like
mine was 38, I think. It was 6.
It was
going with the beat boys, the Red Bull.
Yeah. So mine was like 7 or 8. So I feel like I've been here for like quite a while, but it's just like going through that transition. I kind of miss how the scene used to be, and I kind of miss dancing in the scene how it used to be. I think personally, I kind of like lost what I had personally when I was training, and then when I was learning everything. But now I feel like not like disconnected, but I feel like there's like you said, like a lot of animosity like between everybody. It's just evolving in a different way. A lot of new people are coming. The scene is a lot bigger. A lot of people are more open to different things, which is good. But I think it's just evolving and like just how it is.
Gotcha.
Well, like I don't know what I really have to say. I started dancing in Texas, and I wasn't really like in a scene. I was always self-trained with everything. I didn't look like looking online at all because I didn't want to look. Because I started looking online, and then I started looking like them. I was like, nah, I can't do that. So I just started self-training, and then I came here, and I got on in the scene through Ruckus, and then it was like I was still, I don't know. I think the only time I really asked for advice was when I was at a gym, or when I like talked to somebody was when I was at a gym. And I still feel like I'm not in the scene as much as I could be, but I guess I don't contribute to the scene as much as I could be, because I feel like a lot of the things that I do in the scene is like more an individual thing. Like I battle and then I go and train, and I battle and I go and train. But I did a whole bunch of, I guess, self-training or bringing myself up in the scene. And I think when I first started the scene, I was very eager, and everything was really like, what's it called? Basically, what I'm trying to say is more of a personal thing for me, because I feel like I was very eager to learn and everything, and then I started learning certain styles, which made me even more eager to learn, and so that's where I'm at now. And I guess it could be me being naive or oblivious to what is happening, like within the scene. Because I've only been here for 3 years, so.
Yeah, I can remember when all of you guys started.
Side note, just one more thing. Just a thing on YouTube and watching YouTube and stuff like that. I feel like people are like, even if they want to do it, I feel like they're doing it wrong in a way. Something that Kosi told me about like 5 ways of like learning dance and doing dance is doing dance, thinking about the dance, listening to music, watching dance, and talking about it. And doing any of those 5 things, you're still growing in dance. And I feel like people, when they watch YouTube, they're looking for the move rather than the movement, like how a person got there, or how a person, how a person got there. How a person got from point A to point B. And like something I see in a lot of like big name dancers, or like dancers that are really, really good. What? What's up?
Shortcut.
Oh, yeah. Stuff like that. But something I see in like a lot of like really good dancers is their rhythm timing and the timing of the music and rhythm. Like instead of buying the move, like look how that person's like attacking the music or dancing to the music, like not following the regular rhythm of the music, they're following it in a different way. Like that's something you could learn
Just don't walk down to
rather than just like watching them like the move.
Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a break real quick.
Alright, so once again, the question was to Sarah, why don't we have as many parties or showcases in Florida as compared to battles?
Well, I don't know why we don't, I don't know, I just think that I think that my, friends that I hang out with in the community, we party, and I just don't think it's a whole big thing that we do a lot. There's not a lot of oh, everyone's invited, this is this thing happening, this party's going on, or this whatever is happening. It's more so if you're friends with them, you hang out, you party, you do what you do.
I think he's more so referring to dance, what a jam is supposed to be, not oh, we're just gonna have a party, turn up, not that kind of party, like a dance party.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't like Google though. It's no shade. I don't. When I'm in the dance scene, I want to be there, and then I'm not. I don't want to be there anymore. I go to jams, and it's more so okay. I know I'm going here to dance, but there are a lot of people in the scene that I do not want on that level of say there's a party. I'm not talking about just a party, but a dance party. That means I gotta talk to you a lot more. That means that there's there's no distraction over. And I don't like that. There are some people that I just don't want to be close with in the scene, and I feel if we were to do that whole friendship bonding bullcrap about just having parties and hanging out like that, I'm just gonna end up not liking a lot of people. because of how they are, how they treat, or how they treat dance, or people who take dance seriously and who don't take dance seriously, people who are, how do I say this nicely, full of themselves, people who aren't. It's like, there are just a lot of people I don't want to get to know. Like, I don't have that urge without longing to get to know. And so, even if we did throw these parties, I wouldn't go. And I wouldn't want to throw these parties because there's just that vibe. Especially because the jams now, if I throw a party or if someone throws a party, who's to say that people are going to show up? Because we've been losing, like, people will show up for certain people's events, but we've been losing a lot of people at just, like, events in general. So why would someone waste their money and their time to try to throw another event that's not money related, where someone's going to win money? Like, why? There's just, besides the fact that I don't like none of y'all, besides the fact that there's people I don't want to be with, it's just like if some people are just going to jams for the money or try to win the money. So if you open up an event where there's nothing involved like that, I don't think a lot of people are going to show.
I feel like there doesn't need to be a bunch of parties as far as like the scale ratio from events to parties, because if you had a bunch of parties like every weekend, or like we do jams, even though we don't need that many jams too, then they wouldn't be as special as they are, right? As sought after as they are. Like, you know, for the most part, when we do have those dance parties, it's like the same people that are gonna be in this room. Do you really want to see these same people like every weekend? Like, you know, you have other things in your life and that you want to do. So it's like, I feel like, you know, maybe we could have a party the day before an event or whatever sometimes, but it doesn't need to be as frequent as events are.
Yeah, right.
And even the events themselves don't need to be as frequent as they are sometimes, because, you know, you need time to grow and get better and evolve. You know, if you have an event the same weekend, you're gonna see the same stuff. Or if you have a showcase the same weekend, what are you gonna showcase differently? You know, instead of the same choreography or the same solo.
I agree. That's why for me, I throw events once a year. Some people want me to throw more events, but it's like people rarely come to events or other events. So I have to try to make mine different, which is rare occasions. That's not a distraction. But either way, I've probably been to one of the actual dance jams, I guess. It's pretty cool. Like I said, I'm old school. I consider the competitions and jams in the whole.
Right. Anyone else?
I think we have like enough jams, and then when it comes to like showcases too, I think that like Tyler said that we don't have to have a lot of parties, but I feel like it would be essential in the scene to have a little bit more, because I feel like traveling, I know Tyler like experienced too, like going to other cities, they have like after parties are just as good as the actual event, and like you're in just like a different setting, you're not in a studio space, you're like with different DJs and like different dancers, and you have that little bit of aspect. But most of the dancers who go to these like jams go to the parties, so you have like a club that has like maybe like 60% dancers, 40% regular people, and then just you're still calling people out, you're still ciphering, I've been in like rooms where there's like not one person sitting in like a whole club setting, that there's like 6-7 different ciphers going on in like one room. And I feel like it's essential for like a scene to have that, not as a lot, because it takes away that special essence that it brings, but I feel like it's something that we need to have more of with an event. Like we shouldn't just have an event. Like we should have like, if it's like a big jam, if it's one day, have a pre-party, like get it more like have the importance of the competition, but like still have the importance of why we dance because it's fun, and then we're trying to better ourselves. If you want to battle somebody, what are the chances you're going to battle them in the battle? Call them out, just enjoy yourself kind of thing. So I think that we have that time to enjoy ourselves doing what we love, and not in like a studio space, or not where there's judges, or we know our mindset knowing we're going to a jam, where if you're going to like a pre-party, if you're going just to go out and then just enjoy the music and kind of just enjoy each other's dancing, it kind of adds a better aspect for like the scene.
I'd like to agree with that because, I mean, when I go to a jam, I have the mindset of, all right, I'm here for a purpose, I'm here for a reason. And then, you know, when like party type event I could think of is Can You Dig It at the moment. It was always fun.
Yeah.
And it's just a different side of me and a different side of dance that I truly see, and I enjoy that a lot more because, you know.
And like I think a lot of other scenes, that's something like our scene doesn't have that a lot of other scenes do have. And I feel like it's something that
When you say a lot of other scenes, like
well, like going to San Francisco, like I know you talk big about that. Just like going, like I went to just an event before the actual jam. It was like a pre-party that Soul Shifters threw. It was in a club. Not one person. I think there was 9 ciphers going on at the same time, and that's just something they're like it's normal. And then I went with like Energy Shade from South Florida, and it was just like a culture shock for us. We were just like, we left early, and we were just like, this is like nothing that we experienced before. And
So Florida has, I'll be the first to say that Florida has and does have stuff like that. The issue is that the reason that so many people will travel and be like, oh, we need this, is whenever you're traveling somewhere and you're paying to be there, you're like, all right, well, I'm paying for this full experience, so I'm going to pay, or I'm going to take the extra time to go to this club where I know there's going to be a bunch of people, whereas we could do that here, but nobody wants to go.
Yeah, sure.
And that's the same with showcases. Like, everybody's like, oh, I wish we had more showcases, but whenever we have showcases, nobody comes.
Yeah.
For instance, Digs Deeper. Whenever we had Digs Deeper, the first 2 were like really big, and then it died down. People stopped coming because, oh, I don't have the money or whatever, but you have the money to put into other unnecessary things, so then it just comes down to what is really a priority of people. Like, do you really just want it, or do you just like the idea of it?
I think maybe that's something that like us as like the members of the scene like lack than other scenes do have.
It's just it's the accountability of actually showing up. That's the problem.
I wouldn't even say that we lack it.
Yeah.
If you look at, let's say we just look at our population, like our dance scene versus maybe a larger city's population of dancers. You look at the comparison of the numbers, and there's a vast amount, like, there's a lot of people who have been to ODS and they don't like it necessarily. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I've been going to ODS for the past 5 years. We've been going to ODS religiously for 5 years, every Sunday. And there's a good amount of dancers that go every Sunday, and it's not always great. Just like
gonna be good.
No club is ever gonna always be consistently good.
Right.
But if you go with those people and you create that atmosphere, like, it doesn't matter because it's not about going there to be like, oh, I'm going to dance and da-da-da. It's going to be around the people, that you enjoy being around and dancing and stuff like that. And so it's really just about, I wouldn't say it's that we don't do it on the caliber of other places, but more so that we just don't really have the numbers in comparison. Because I mean, if you go to any other city, there's going to be a vast amount of people who don't go out as well, but they just have more dancers in comparison to our community.
Yeah.
And whenever you look at Florida dance community, it's really like people look at our scene like the Florida scene. It's not very often that it's separated, like Tampa, Orlando, South Florida. Whenever people look at it, it's like, oh, that's Florida. But if you look at California, it's like, okay, LA, San Francisco, San Diego. You look at Texas, it's like, okay, the Houston scene, the Dallas scene.
Yeah.
You have these cities that are, their communities in a city are just as big as our state. And so whenever you look at it that way, it's like, there's only so much that can be done if we have to drive an hour and a half or whatever or more just to get to the club where a lot of people are going.
Mm-hmm.
so. It pretty much seems like that's a pretty easy topic, unless anyone else wants to add anything.
He hit it early.
Tick, can you do me a favor? Because you haven't drawn one yet. I know I'm gonna get to you a little bit. So let me see it.
Don't read it.
Oh, I'm not
If you
gonna
can't read.
It's more pizza cat.
Oh, did I do it? I did it.
All right.
I did it.
So
Me and you
for
guys.
Tick first, what are your pet peeves for dancers or with dancers?
I'm going last.
Yeah.
Oh my god. They caught that on camera. It's okay. I'm good. I have no
Anything.
I'm good.
No shame.
No shame.
I got no shame to give.
Alright, Tick, what are your pet peeves with dancers?
I do not like dancers that don't come willing to learn or willing to accept anything other than what they know. I don't like cocky dancers. I really don't. What else? Fighters hate them. Anyone that thinks if you're not doing it their way, it's the wrong way. What else? That's all I can think of right now. No answer wrong.
It's a straightforward question.
It's just you. It's your perspective.
Amen.
I personally mainly take issue with dancers who, they learn something and they think that they're ready to teach it, and then they teach the wrong thing. I've had people tell me this is a whack. This is not a whack. If you say that, you are fundamentally wrong. You should not be teaching.
Fundamentally.
A drink to that.
That's it.
Girl, get out the notepad. I'm about to go in. I do not like fighters. I do not like dancers with the mentality that every single round they have, they won. Like, learn to take an L gracefully. I do not like this thought of I've won this many jams, so I'm better than you. It's like, no, you're just you were good in that moment, in that time with that song. I do not like the mentality or dancers who are what I call cradle grabbers. When someone new comes to the scene, a crew will grab them and pull them in, not knowing that person, not letting the person explore and find their own before they join a crew. I do not like these people who idolize a certain dancer and then start to look like that person. I do not like I do not like dancers who run crews and or studios and always put themselves in the middle. I do not like I can't stand dancers and or dance teams who use styles that and no one on their crew knows anything about that style. I do not like dance crews who whack and then add a dip at the end and think it's alright. It's not. That is incorrect. That does not happen. I hate culture vultures. People who will take from a scene and then try to put it into another category that does not belong into. I hate people who say choreography is a style. Choreography is not a style. I can be here for a long ass time. I hate judges and or people who give females a pass because they're females. These girls work just as hard and can be just as good as anyone else who's dancing. I detest I detest people who are judging and then someone they don't like comes up and they use their own personal feelings as a way to judge. I hate judges who try to dodge a call out. You can feel how you want about that, but I do not like a judge who likes to dodge a call out. If you get called out, you are judging. Get up and just embarrass this person if you have to. I'm not with dancers. I'm not with dancers who consistently talk about other dancers, but won't raise a hand to help those dancers or try at least to lead the dancers in the right direction. I'm okay with, because a girl, I talk a lot of shit. And I'm going to continue to talk a lot of shit. But the thing is, when I get on the floor, I will prove myself every single time. There is not a time where I'm going to get on the floor and be like, I'm better than you. Well, I don't say that anyway, but I'm going to be like, I'm better than you. And then when you call me out or we end up battling, I don't put in work to show that I'm actually doing something. Like, it's just like if don't come with a mouth if you don't have the skill.
Hey, I like that.
I'm gonna stop there. I can go for it.
I agree. I'm actually. This is just has nothing to do with anything. But when does a competitor or whatever you want to say call out a judge? When can't they call out a judge?
Okay, so when it comes to a call out, like say if someone didn't make top 16, you can't call out a judge because there's 3 judges up there who decide that. So who you gonna call out? All 3 of them?
All 3.
People like you get dusted by 3 different people. But when you're in a battle and say 1 judge goes one way and 2 judges go the other way, or if 2 judges go one way and 1 judge goes one way, and you're like, okay, I want to know why this happened, so I want you. Or if you're in the sense of when Kid came down to judge and he was on his phone while someone was judging, and the person didn't know what he was doing by the way he was like taking down notes apparently, and then he was called out, like blatant disrespect. Or if you don't agree with a call that a judge has made, then yeah, call him out. But when it comes to like top 16, I mean, you don't know who said what, what's doing what, and where, and how. But when they're actually like,
so
then you can see what's going on.
So you're a judge, and Tick calls you out.
I'm gonna roast his ass.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not one to shy away. If I'm judging, I know what I signed up for. So I know, because if you don't get paid and you're a judge, I'm sorry. But if I'm being paid to judge, I'm gonna take every stipulation with it. Now there are some judges who would be like, "Why would I battle you? You weren't doing anything." And I understand that, but I don't like it. I mean, you can do what you want. Like same thing with someone's like, "I like the way you live your lifestyle." Like, girl, that's fine. I'm still gonna live it. But you ain't gotta like it. But like for me, like say. If I call you out and you're like, and you wave me off, I'm gonna be like, bitch, you better be bad.
Right. Now, well, me, like I said, I look at it as battle etiquette. Like, if you're new to the scene and you're trying to call out Mr. Wiggles,
he should embarrass you.
He should.
No,
but then again,
because you have to earn that.
That's what I'm getting at.
You have to earn that right. I mean, you don't have to agree with it, but you have to earn that right. So, it's like, if somebody new comes into the scene and I've been putting in my time and I don't want X amount of battles and all this XYZ, and then they don't agree with, let's say they don't agree with not making it out of prelims, I'm gonna be like, well, you need to train. I'm not gonna waste I'm sitting here because I've done the time. You know, I've put in the time and effort. This is why I'm sitting in the chair. Like, I haven't seen you around doing anything. Like, for me personally, you're not worth the time or effort.
I'm gonna embarrass you every single time. You don't got to, but I'm gonna embarrass you every single time.
That's a personal preference.
Right.
I'm just saying, it's like, I'm not gonna waste my time and energy on every person who feels like they deserve to be.
You'll be battling every gym.
Yeah.
That's perfectly okay with me. I'm still gonna embarrass you every single time.
Yeah? Alright, cool. So let's put a time limit on this one for 15 minutes. Do you hold grudges with people in the scene? And if so, why?
What was the question?
Do you hold grudges with people in the scene? And if so, why?
Grudges, period.
I'll let him answer.
Girl, I was a light out fire. I was a name drop, boo.
No, and I'll say that because, not to sound, like an asshole, I don't care too much about people for them to get under my skin. So that's that. Like, it is what it is. You know?
I don't give a fuck. I'll hold a grudge.
Thank you.
It's not even like, I care so much about them, but it's just like, if somebody does wrong by me or somebody that I'm close with, then I don't fuck. Yeah, I don't fuck with you. You know, like eventually everybody gets the opportunity to right their wrong, but I'm gonna hold that grudge, and it's like, if I'm gonna be seeing you all the time, I'm gonna let it be known, like, I don't fuck with you. But it's as simple as that. It's not like me holding a grudge in a way of being like, every time I see you, I'm like, oh, that nigga. I know how to be cordial with people, but I'm saying, if I'm not fucking with you, you're gonna know. You're gonna be like, oh, why is this nigga acting like that? Like, dang, because I don't fuck with you. That's it, because you don't know how to act.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go out of my way to talk to you. I'm not gonna go out of my way to do like all that nice stuff. You know, cause when I come into a room, I like to hug everyone that I know or that doesn't smell bad, and you know, and just get out of the way. But if I don't, if you wrong me or you piss me off to a point where I don't feel the need to speak to you, it's not gonna happen. But unlike him, I don't do the sorry thing. I think sorry is a 5-letter word that makes the person in the wrong feel good about themselves. You fucked up. You fucked up, period. There is no sorry for me when it comes to me. Now, by saying that, I don't mean like there's no like redemption or anything like that. It means that now you have to work a lot harder so that whatever you did doesn't happen again. That situation. And when I decide to talk to you is when it happens. But yes, I hold grudges.
So I guess that's it.
I was just gonna say, I think grudges are what he was saying when you like. My definition of grudges is when you're like, you know, you're hating on somebody because of either how you feel or how they feel, and you just don't like it or whatever. I think the other thing where like cutting somebody off or just like from your life because they are just they're just bringing negativity into it that's life, that's maturity. I don't think that's necessarily grudges.
Right.
And I think you can do that whether it's dance wise or like just regular life wise. Like holding a grudge. I don't know. Do you guys? A question I have is when you hold grudges, is it more dance wise or personal?
What do you
like if somebody beats you in a battle, are you gonna?
Oh no, girl, that don't matter.
Yeah. Okay.
I know I'm gonna lose eventually. Like I don't.
Yeah.
No, it's more of you've done something to me.
Yeah, like personally.
Nothing dance wise.
Now if we're talking about like battles or whatever, it's no.
The question, just to reiterate the question, do you hold grudges with people in the scene?
Right.
And why?
Yeah,
like,
there are people
I
in the scene that
currently
don't like.
Yeah,
There's a lot of motherfuckers in the scene that don't put a bad taste in my mouth I don't like.
Understand that I'm not only just talking about this scene. I'm talking about a global or national or regional scene. I'm saying, why do you have these grudges? Like, why do you feel like you have these grudges?
I have a burn book.
And so on and so forth.
I'm mad.
And I encourage everyone to answer this question.
I'm gonna keep mine short and sweet. I have grudges with people all over the country because you got people that was hating on you whenever you're battling. First time they seen you, you got people who hate on you and talk shit about you because you're from out of state and then try to be buddy with you in your face. And it's like you put a bad taste in my mouth. Like I'll keep it cordial, like I said, but my definition of holding a grudge is not letting go of something that happened. Like I'm not gonna let it go. We could be cool. We could move past it eventually. We could become good friends. I'm still not going to let it go. And I'm going to remind you every time, like, yo, you remember that time you was being a fucking hater? And I'm going to hold on to it. Like, it doesn't matter if we hate each other or if we eventually become good friends. Like, I hold on to it. I don't let people forget shit.
Texas. There's a group of people in Texas who went out of their way to post on one of my videos that I put on Facebook. One of the videos was shared, and they were like, "This isn't a style. This shouldn't be in the scene." Da da da. And of course, it's me. When I got tagged in it, I ripped ass. So, I went. So I posted. I was like, you guys talk a big game on Facebook. Where you at when it comes to actual like battling? I went to Texas once. They lost. I won that jam. Walked away with that. I don't fuck with Texas. I haven't been back. I haven't been back to Texas. I have a problem with someone in Philadelphia who's getting all this praise for voguing, but what he's doing is not voguing at all. It's just dipping with another aspect or style. It's stuff like if we're talking about like dance related like that, it's things like that. I don't like it when people are on Facebook and they're like, oh yeah, this person does this, does that, but in a little group me or whatever they're doing, they're talking a whole other story, and then when you get screenshot and it gets sent to someone. By the way, I always get those a lot. So there's a few people who are close to a few people who I don't fuck with in this room right now, actually. So, I mean, of course I'm gonna hold a grudge. I don't gotta let you know, but you'll get it. You'll get it. Like it's not gonna be that hard. Yeah.
I don't hold a grudge on people because if I did, I would hold a grudge on a lot of people who, you know, when I started growing up, because there was a time when, you know, everybody used to call me like Baby X and stuff like that. With good reason.
I never did that. So
I did.
I never did.
With, in a way, good reason because of what they saw, like what they saw, whatever. Like there's certain things that, you know, me even talking with X, or certain things where it gave me the clarification that I wasn't, you know, biting him, or I wasn't trying to dance like him, or whatever. And like, I feel like grudges sometimes are miscommunicated as just misunderstandings. Mm-hmm. Like, you could look at someone and say this is what they are, but until you actually go and talk with them, or like, you know, be around them for a little while, then, you know, you'll never really, really truly understand them. And you'll just be holding some hate or a grudge against them for no apparent reason. You know, like, for example, like me and Dante, like, remember that battle, the circuits battle?
Yeah, the one where he pulled out the piece of gum.
Yeah.
Out that shit.
Hey, that shit was whack. But like, if I would have just based our relationship based off that, then me and him probably wouldn't be friends, you know? Until we got together and became friends. Oh my god.
I would say that I would hold a grudge on anyone for something dance related, but there are definitely people kind of involved in the scene or that have to do with places and events that happen in the scene that I will hold a grudge against because they were just absolutely unprofessional. And so it's not something that I'm actively like, oh, you shouldn't support these people, da 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 da. But I personally believe that my time and money is support, so I will not give that to those people ever. Like, it's a non-starter. I don't think it's so much about like that they're bad people or whatever, but I don't think that by enforcing that behavior with financial gain for whoever it is makes them change in any way.
Yeah, Emily, what do you think?
So far, I haven't had to hold a grudge against anybody in the scene. And if I did, I'm pretty like a forgiving person because this is just dance. And I know we are all people, but, you know, I'd rather focus that energy on something else that's more positive than, like, holding a grudge against somebody.
I don't like Emily anymore. Let's move on. No. Okay.
But that's, like, my personal, like, I'm like the type of person I won't hold a grudge, but I won't forget anything. So, I always, like, I never forget. So, I think that's, like, I'll always have that in the back of my head, but like, I'll have like no ill will or like negative like approach
I wish
to
I was
anybody.
just that like blissful and positive.
Just
I really do because I'm
like,
a negative ass person.
I feel like there's just like better things to focus your energy on and like take that energy and like I don't know train with it or something like.
But I mean,
like,
how do you view a grudge? Like, do you think that people is like that they're dwelling on it the whole time, or do you think it just comes up when the person just comes around?
Like both, because if it's that serious, then you'll dwell on it. But if it's not that serious, then when the person comes around, you'll remember, oh, that person, like that's the reason. You'll just get reminded.
So when for me personally, in a way, I don't think about none of y'all when I leave the jam with the scene. I'm letting y'all know that now. But when I come back into it, then of course, if I see someone like, oh girl, I don't like him, I'm gonna keep on moving. But when I leave that scene, I don't think about none of y'all, especially Dante's ass. I hate that man. I can't stand Dante's ass. Some real nigger in there.
Yeah.
What's the next question?
Also, I just think that it just depends on like learning the person's intentions or before you have a grudge on the person.
Right.
Like for example, another thing, like, you know, if they didn't, you know, call me like, you know, baby X or whatever, I wouldn't have tried so hard to create my own style or find my own self and dance as hard as I have. And because of that, and the fact that they took the chance to just be like, yo, this is what you're doing, and like this is what I feel like you're doing. You need to change it. Like people coming up to you and telling you those things, I was able to change. You know, instead of just holding ill will towards it and creating regret out of it for no reason.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna agree with what Em was saying. That I mean, I'm not one to really hold a grudge or anything like that, but I do remember what happened, and I do keep it always. So I function around that. So if you did something bad to me, I'll function around knowing that, and my actions would reflect that.
Hey, Tick, I hate you. Don't talk to me.
Love you too.
Hey, I have a very great memory. I'm sorry. Yeah, I have like a really good memory, so I just remember everything that people have ever like said or done to me, and like if like you wrong me, I will. You're just not there. You're irrelevant. So that's it. Just a little fly.
All right, cool. So we're gonna take another break real quick.